that I'm going to get into a lot, and found something humongous on Ramaswamy today that I'm going to get to after the first break. But here we go.
At 6 a.m.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
All right, welcome to the program. It is Tuesday morning, coming up on 6 minutes after 6 o'clock in the a.m. Oh my goodness, I never get used to that. Welcome everyone. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977, celebrating 46 years on the radio. We have got a lot to cover on the program today. There's been some major updates in Trump's legal cases, both in the federal court in Florida and this kangaroo court in D.C., the new one that I'm going to get into. And I found something huge on Vivek Ramaswamy that I'm going to get to after the first break. Do not miss that. You know, I cannot believe how much criticism I've gotten from people in this audience over talking not in a positive way about Ramaswamy. I'm sorry that Soros' brother paid for his graduate school. They're mad at me. What, am I supposed to cover this up? You know what it is? You know, listen, a lot of people that are new conservatives are recovered liberals, and they still have a little bit of that liberalism in their blood where they want to lie and cover things up and craft the news. I'm sorry. So if you were ticked off at me yesterday for exposing Vivek Ramaswamy, you're not going to like this one after the first break. Stay tuned for that. And I just heard on the news the heat index. It said in Palm Beach through the Treasure Coast. I don't know what the deal is with Broward, but throughout Palm Beach County, which is where I live and where I'm at right now, and the Treasure Coast, the heat index is going to reach 114 degrees. Are you kidding me? Oh my goodness. Don't let them make you think that global warming's real and this is proof of it. The heat index is not the actual temperature. Those of you that are new to Florida, you know the wind chills up north, how cold it is and how cold it feels like. That's what the heat index is. It's not the real temperature, it's what it feels like. But today it's going to feel like 114 degrees. And I can remember as a kid in Florida having temperatures very high, the regular temperature over 100 degrees, many a summer. And I don't remember paying attention to the heat index. That's a new thing to me, the heat index in the last few years. But it's going to be hot, which means I'm going to be going from air conditioning controlled environment to air conditioning controlled environment with very little time outside during that. So, oh boy. See, that's why I don't mow my own lawn. I'd have a heat stroke if I went out there and tried to cut my grass with this kind of weather. Okay, but we got a lot to cover, so be careful, guys. Oh, man. Oh, I remember when I first started school in Florida, you know, we didn't have central air conditioning in the school. Can you imagine? And we had 100-degree heat. That beginning of the year was the worst in the school. I think they have air conditioning on school buses now. Is that true? We didn't have air conditioning on school buses when I was in school. No way. We had heat, but not air conditioning. But, yeah, it's a pretty hot one today. All right. So this kangaroo court in D.C., we got a call from one of our liberal listeners yesterday. I can't remember which one it was. Was it Jay in Jersey? And he says, why do you think the judge in D.C. should recuse themselves, but the Trump-appointed judge in Florida should not? And there's a simple reason for that. There's a big difference between liberal judges and conservative judges, okay? Conservative judges that are picked by smart people like President Trump are what are called constitutionalists. Some of them are even called strict constitutionalists. And what that means is that they make rulings based on what the Constitution of the United States and what the other laws of the United States say. Right? And sometimes judges, including on the Supreme Court that have been conservatives, have ruled in favor, like Justice Scalia ruled in favor of pornographers because of free speech. He wasn't a supporter of it, but the Constitution, the First Amendment, allows pornography. liberals, the reason the liberal should recuse herself in D.C. are many. When she was an attorney, before she was a federal judge, not only did she donate to Obama, she donates to Obama. And now she's got a federal judgeship appointed by Obama. It's almost like she bought it. I'm not saying she bought it, but hey, I mean, come on. Little conflict there. She worked at a law firm before she was a federal judge with Hunter Biden, who, believe it or not, was a lawyer. And they worked at the law firm together at the same time. And no one in the news ever talks about this. That's a conflict. But the other problem is with liberal judges, sometimes you'll hear liberal judges referred to as activist judges. And what liberal judges do on the federal bench, the lower federal courts and the Supreme Court, is they make their rulings and decisions based on the way they want things to be, the way they feel they should be, not based on our laws or our Constitution, all right? And that's how liberals are. See, liberal judges believe that the Constitution doesn't apply, that it was written by rich white supremacist slaveholders for the benefit of maintaining white supremacy and slaveholding. So it doesn't apply. And they make rulings and decisions based on what they think. They're activist judges. They act as legislators, which they're not. So that's the difference between the two different kinds of judges. And I trust this judge not just because she was appointed by President Trump. That's a big reason in Florida. But I know she was vetted by very good people around President Trump. And she will make her decisions on the bench based on the laws of the United States and the Constitution, not on her hatred or love of someone, all right? Like these liberal jerks that are federal judges all over the country, okay? So that's the big difference between that. And some of President Trump's legal strategy, in particular in the D.C. kangaroo court case, have leaked out. And with the strategy that is leaked out of his legal team somehow, you know, these legal teams, they got a lot of people that work in the offices and everything. Their strategy is going to be to go for hung jury because they know in D.C. there's no way to get an acquittal, which tells you right there that, you know, you can't get a fair trial if you're a president. They have accepted the fact that there's no way to get an acquittal, not because he's guilty. He's done nothing wrong. Committed no crimes. But you've got not just an activist judge who donates to Obama and works with crackhead Hunter Biden, the son of the man who had Trump arrested, right? She brings charges. She worked with the guy whose dad is going to be thrown out of the White House when he loses to Donald Trump. Not just that conflict of interest, but the jury pool is filled with liberal jerks that work in the federal government in D.C. They work at the Department of this, that, and everything else, and they're a bunch of liberal Republican-hating jerks, and they can't get a fair trial. So so the Trump legal team has taken the whole idea of an acquittal off the table because the court is fixed. This is like a court in the 50s in the South that has a jury impaneled to make a judgment and a decision on the killers of Medgar Evers. The decision has been made before they've even called people for jury duty. So the strategy that is leaked out of the Trump camp is they're going to try to go for a hung jury. That's the best they can hope for in a case in D.C. Now, we'll talk more about that. And I picked up something huge that discredits, yet again, Vivek Ramaswamy. All right, we'll get to that after the break. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. My name is Brian Craig. Our number is toll-free from anywhere, 1-888-GO-KANE, 1-888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
Don't sit on the sidelines.
Now, guys, have you ordered your Mighty MAGA Lion? Now, the Mighty MAGA Lion's available at mightymagalion.com. I put the link, pinned it in the chat. There's also a link in the description of the video if you're not watching live. This is available exclusively through us at mightymagalion.com. Of course, inspired by Trumpy Bear. And my wife, Kathy, and Dee, who's one of our moderators in the chat, designed the Mighty MAGA Lion. I came up with the idea of the lion, and then they designed it. And this is just an awesome lion. So go to mightymagalion.com and order yours. They make great gifts. Isn't he cute? Got his MAGA hat on. Got 45 on the side. See, Dee and my wife, they were pretty smart. They put the 45 on the side too, huh? Isn't that cool? That's right. And he's really cute. Got a cute tail. And yeah, so go to mightymagalion.com. There's a link in the description. And I also pinned the link in the live chat. Just click it and order and get yours, all right?
And we look forward to doing that for the next 75 years. We don't just treat neuropathy at Lighthouse Medical Center. We have a specialized knee pain program with non-surgical solutions for bone-on-bone and knee pain issues. We also treat chronic back pain, ankle, knee, hip, and shoulder pain. Call for a free consultation with us today, 754-222-6642.
What do you guys think about that? This Trump legal strategy of going for a hung jury. I mean, that seems to be the best they can get out of D.C. I think this judge down here is very likely to toss it. Now, I'm going to get into Ramaswamy pretty quick. Hold on. And then I'll get back to the case.
This is Steve Cannon. I want to tell you about our family dentist at the Cannon household, Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental. From cleanings to implants, he does it all. We love Dr. Gupta in our household because he takes the pain.
Welcome, everyone. If you're new, make sure you subscribe, guys. And everyone else, please like the video. Liking the video helps a lot. It's the only strategy you can do, a hung jury.
Tell him Steve sent you.
In D.C.
Your trusted eye practice for cataract surgery. Listen to this Google review.
I just had my cataract surgery, and Dr. Middleman did an outstanding job. I was extremely nearsighted my entire life, but the new trifocal panoptic lenses he inserted allow me to see more clearly than ever, and no more glasses or contacts.
Middleman Eye, 2 locations in Jupiter Gardens and West Palm Beach. Call 561.
All right, we're coming back.
Eyes. Online at middlemaneye.com. Call or text the Middleman Eye Center today at 561-500-2020 to make an appointment in West Palm Beach or Jupiter.
Now back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, hear us in Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at TrueOldiesFLA.com.
All right, welcome back, one and all. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. Callers on hold, stand by. I want to remind you guys that the Schloman's free home security system and free doorbell camera offer with professional installation is back for a limited time. I have this doorbell camera. My daughter got it in California. I was going to get it for her. I was going to call and get her the doorbell camera, and she got it before I could do it. This doorbell camera from Schloman's will change your life. Of course, it's added security. You know, we had a robbery. One of my neighbors had a car broken into, and the detectives came to my house asking if they could look over my footage because I've got high-definition footage both day and night. And the break-in was like really early in the morning, really kind of the nighttime, but early in the morning, and it's great to have. Oh, yeah, you wouldn't be able to do that in my, you wouldn't be able to break into my car without setting everything off because we get that notification. But if you're one of the first 40 listeners who call 833-283-5050, you'll get a free doorbell camera that connects directly to your cell phone, just like mine does, and it's pretty cool, with the installation of your Sloman Shield. You can see your home no matter where you are in the world. I was using it on our cruise at the beginning of the year. But also, Sloman's is going to give you a free customized home security system and professional installation when you use their low-cost central station monitoring. They're going to give you an LED touchscreen pad, a motion detector, 3 arm doors, a backup battery, and if you're one of the first 40 listeners who call 833-283-5050, you'll receive a free doorbell camera with the installation of your Sloman Shield. This is a limited time offer, so call 1-833-283-5050. 1-833-283-5050. All right, so in the first segment, the legal strategy in the D.C. kangaroo court with this Obama donor judge who worked with Hunter Biden. boy, oh boy, isn't that something? That the legal strategy of his team there has leaked out. They're going for a hung jury because there's no way to get an acquittal in that case. All right, let's go to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Leslie Mahan. I'm calling from Edmond, Oklahoma. Good morning, Brian.
Hey, Leslie, what's up?
Well, today is my 25th wedding anniversary, and oddly enough, a year ago today is when Trump's house was ransacked.
Oh my goodness. Well, happy anniversary, and I guess on every wedding anniversary you'll remember when the federal Nazis broke into Mar-a-Lago.
Yes, for sure.
Let me ask you, are you married to your first husband?
Yes, I am.
Congratulations.
Beautiful 15-and-a-half-year-old. Yes, she's amazing. Thank you.
Awesome. So is that it? You just calling in to wish yourself happy anniversary? Well, that's awesome. That's a good thing. Every year, my 27th anniversary is coming up in December, and every year since like the 5th anniversary, I tell my wife the same thing. I couldn't keep a girlfriend for 27 days. I couldn't keep a girl, if it's the 5th anniversary, I couldn't keep a girlfriend for 5 days, or you know what I mean? Now, so I always tell her that, Yeah, I got dumped a lot. Yeah, it's true. I didn't do the breaking up very often.
Right. I also wanted to share with you that I believe this whole thing that they're putting Trump through is ridiculous. What's happened to our legal system? There is no legal system. They're using stuff based on an opinion, not on fact. That's all.
Well, you know what it is? Our country is being run by corrupt public officials that are misusing their law enforcement powers. It's like a bad cop who plants evidence and things like that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're being run by outlaws.
Yep.
All right. Well, hey, listen, happy anniversary.
Thank you. Happy birthday, Brian.
All right, take care. 25 years of marriage to her first husband. That's amazing. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, good morning. This is Richie.
Hey, Richie.
I hope Cassie's listening to you this early in the morning, because this has to do with what you're talking about now. But yesterday in your podcast, and I'm going to tell you my feeling about this, you started to get sympathy for a lady that might have been a liberal, that had a problem with the law. I picked that up and you were saying you got to turn cheek like Jesus. And I started saying to myself, what the heck, Brian, you've been influenced by Kathy?
I didn't say any of that. I didn't say turn the other cheek like Jesus or any of that.
She did. Your wife did.
Well, what happened was, okay, there's a viral video, which I cannot play on the radio because it has profanity in it, and I wasn't going to play it on the radio, so I didn't bleep out the profanity. I played it on my podcast. I can play any language. But a woman, this video has gone viral all over social media. This woman in San Francisco was mugged, and the guy threatened to, rape her and all kinds of stuff. He spit in her face and everything else, and she did this whiny video, and it circulated on social media that, she voted all this Democrat lawlessness in San Francisco. Now she's whining because she got robbed. And what I was talking about was there's an old saying, Ronald Reagan used to say this, but I have not heard anyone say this in many years, and I talked about this on the podcast. There's an old saying, a conservative, listen carefully, because a lot of people haven't heard this before. You'll know this, Richie, because you're old, but those of you that haven't heard this is a good saying from Ronald Reagan. A liberal is a conservative who hasn't been mugged, right? A conservative is a liberal who hasn't been mugged. And this woman, she's born and raised in California, raised in the San Francisco area. She doesn't know another life. That's like living in North Korea. And she's on the cusp of waking up to realize all these liberal ideas are nonsense and can get you killed. And I said I wouldn't, well, I feel sorry for any crime victim, yeah.
Yeah, okay, here's the deal. And I'm going to say it the way I'm going to say it, because everyone keeps on calling out the way they're treating Trump. I've seen this president of the United States over it was the spring, get up looking like the devil, condemning all of us. I mean, I see a justice system going after people in schools, parents.
Parents at school board meetings. I mean, look, they had federal agents. They had federal I'm interrupting the monologue. They had federal agents in the parking lot of school board meetings writing down the license plate numbers so that they could track down parents who went to their child's school board meeting. Can you believe that?
Okay. Yeah, I do, and I believe this. There's no way we can coexist with these people. I am sorry to say they are communists. They are taking this country over, and we're sitting back there thinking that through God, everything is going to be all right. And we have to fight fire with fire, man. And I'm telling you right now.
All right. Okay, all right. We're not going to get into fighting and fires and things like this. But, yeah, Trump is being railroaded, okay? He's done no wrong. The guy hasn't gotten more than a speeding ticket his entire life. Now they've got him indicted 3 times. The 4th time's coming. 2 of them are in federal court. I don't think El Chapo was indicted that much in U.S. federal court. I'm not kidding. How many indictments did El Chapo get? Anyone know? I don't think that many. Not 4? 4 different courts, 4 different jurisdictions. But he will overcome. And after the break, I'll tell you why. Call us on hold. Stand by. We'll be right back.
Making morning radio great again. I think you're gonna really love it. It's the Steve Kane.
All right, guys. Yeah, Richie's upset. Now, guys, order your Mighty MAGA Lion. You know, these Mighty MAGA Lions are our creation. My wife, Kathy, and I, we partnered up with Dee in the chat. And Dee has all the contacts to get these things made. So she actually got this lion made. And Dee and my wife came up with the design of the lion. Got his MAGA hat on, 45 on the side. I came up with the idea of the lion. Cute tail. See that nice tail? Look at the detail. All right? And it's a great way to support the show, too. MightyMAGALion.com. There's a link in the description of the video, and I also pinned it in the chat to MightyMAGALion.com. They make great, look at that, the teeth. A lot of detail there. So order your Mighty MAGA Lion. I love mine. Yeah, Richie's all fired up, but he's losing some self-control.
And now, a True Oldies traffic check, brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
Wait till you hear the new thing I have. Hey, Neil. Welcome, Neil. UK Neil. Neil's going to be visiting America. So, of course, Neil, when you visit America, there's a couple things we're going to do. Okay? Because I'm going to meet with Neil. I'm going to spend the day with Neil one day if he can fit me into his schedule. We're going to do 2 things. First, we're going to go to the gun range, and we're going to shoot some guns. Okay? We're going to walk in and go shoot some guns at the gun range. That's number 1. Then after that, we're going to have some Guinness, and then I'm going to take you to Mar-a-Lago. And hopefully the president's in town. If the president's in town, I'll take you to see Trump Force 1. But I've taken people that have been visiting from the UK to the gun ranges, and it's fun. It's fun. We'll have to start out with something small, like a 22, and then we'll have to go up to the 9mm, you know. Oh, awesome. Neil, and you became a member. That's awesome. Thanks, Neil. You got to start with it. From my experience, when you take someone who's not, you know, from the UK, you give them the 22 first. Let them have some fun with that, and then you move up to the 38. You know, my 38 fires 357 rounds, so probably give them the 9mm first, because there's less recoil than 9mm on the Glock, and then we'll go to the 38. Oh, I've done skeet shooting. Skeet on cruise ships. Yeah, they don't do that anymore on cruise ships. But that was fun. You go to the back of the ship and shoot the skeet with like a 10 gauge or 12 gauge. Well, I'm going to bring a couple of my guns, and then maybe we'll rent something too. A cannon, something big to get a lot of recoil. You got to really, you know. Yeah, you got it. I don't have a 22. 22 is like a cap gun.
Not only do you need to make smart investment choices, you need to make smart tax choices as well. The IRS is waiting to collect a part of that account, and you can minimize what they get, but you have to use the right strategies. To learn about these strategies to reduce taxes on your IRA account, text the word tax report to 474747. Text the word
Yeah, maybe I'll make a vlog
so you and your family can keep
to show everybody. Nothing's dangerous. Nothing's dangerous. You just point the gun down range. You're fine. Nothing's dangerous. I went to high school with a kid. He was a crack dealer. He was only in school because the judge would throw him in jail if he wasn't in school. He got shot with a 22. He said the hole sealed up. Like one drop of blood came out, and he walked to the ER, and he said, "I've been shot." And they looked at it. They said, "Go sit down and wait." Wow. Well, thank you, Jimmy. Jimmy D. Do you remember Jimmy Ray, Jimmy D? Yes. Jimmy Ray. I haven't seen Jimmy Ray in years. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we'll take some video and pictures from the take back home. He'll have a great time. You could take some video for your channel on all your platforms, Neil. Hey, Australia.
46 years on the air.
All right, welcome back, one and all. Callers on hold, stand by. My name is Brian Craig. You're listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show. One of our listeners in the UK is visiting America, and I don't do this for every listener who comes to Florida, but I'm going to meet up with Neil, and I'm going to take, his name's Neil, UK Neil we call him, and I'm going to take him, because he's from the UK, where they have 100% gun control, unless you're the military. The cops don't even have guns over there. I'm going to take him to the gun range, and I'm really looking forward to that. I've taken other people to the gun range from the UK that have never held a gun or fired a gun, and it's so much fun. It's so much fun. I'm looking forward to that. All right, let's go. To the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, John, Washington State.
Hey, John, what's up?
Nothing much. I hope the special counselor, whoever is actually listening to this, because I'm going to give a little education when it comes to the Constitution and the rule of law. The indictment that came out of Washington, D.C. for the January 6th indictment.
Yeah.
Indictment is null and void. To read the Constitution, the only way you can.
That's where you're going off wrong here. These people don't care about the Constitution. They hate the Constitution. They're like Megan Rapone, okay, and Kaepernick.
They can't even.
So to go in front of an Obama judge that was an Obama donor that worked with Hunter Biden at the law firm and Jack Smith and all the rest, and you start arguing the Constitution, I mean, you might as well start arguing Huckleberry Finn. They don't care.
I've heard they're going to try and move it from D.C. to West Virginia because the fact that the judge was on the serving the same law firm as Hunter Biden.
That's right. At the same time. But that would mean that we've got a fair judge and a fair court that's going to say, okay, let's move it to West Virginia. You really think they're going to do that?
Well, I mean,
The judge would have to admit that they had a conflict of interest because they worked with that junkie first son we got.
but what I was going to say is that being that Trump was acquitted on the January 5th from the impeachment trial, they can't even indict him or even charge charges on that because of the fact that he was acquitted. So the indictment could be shot down just because of that reason. It was based on the Constitution.
Now, I'm not disagreeing with you. I mean, a president shouldn't even be charged with a crime. I mean, and in the past, I used to get people really upset with me because when people were chanting "lock her up" to Hillary Clinton, I say you do not want to lock up first ladies and presidents. If you start arresting and charging first ladies and presidents, the next thing you know, they're going to arrest Trump and Melania, and they've already done half of that 3 times.
The only thing I can't understand, okay, for instance, like Barack Obama and his wife, right? They had 8 years in the White House, okay? And the first lady sometimes would have equal or more influence on the president than anybody else. So I can't see how they can be put on a ticket to even run for president because they already,
Now, please.
White House.
Michelle Obama is not going to run for president. She has never had a job. She's not going to do anything. She's not going to do anything that requires like work. I'm serious. She's never had a job.
I was like in 2016 when Hillary was trying to run because her husband said, well, he did 8 years in the White House too, so she shouldn't have been put on the ticket either.
Well, you're not married, obviously.
Oh no.
See, every man who's married, their wife has influence over them. That's just part of marriage,
Yeah, well, when I was with my kids' mom, again, I guess he had influence somewhat. But yeah, I mean, I was checking on YouTube. There's a lot of interesting things coming up. Especially, you did hear that the fact that the Florida judge went off on the special prosecutor.
Yeah, I want to get to that later. Yeah, the Florida judge. I think the Florida judge might dismiss the case. I want to get to that a little later in the show.
Oh yeah.
All right. Hey, listen, I appreciate the call. We're here till 9. If I do everything in the first 45 minutes, what are we going to do? Callers on hold. Stand by. Our number 1-888-GO-CANE-1. I want to throw something out to you related to Ron DeSantis before I forget. I talked about this in great detail on my podcast, so I'm just going to give you a capsulized version. Ron DeSantis did an interview with NBC News where he's trashing Trump and it's making a lot of headlines. But I noticed something. He did the interview with his wife, Casey DeSantis, who some call Walmart Melania. And what I noticed is they were sitting next to each other and they were holding hands during the interview. Did you guys see this? Now, looking back at politicians over the years, when they do interviews and they're holding hands with their wife during the interview, is always a sign of a troubled marriage. Clintons used to do this all the time, right? And I'm not accusing Ron DeSantis of messing around on Casey DeSantis. She doesn't keep him out of her sight. She's like Pence's wife, so he wouldn't have the opportunity. But I do believe, and I want to hear your thoughts on this at 1-888-GO-CANE-1. Maybe I'm wrong, but I believe that Ron DeSantis' marriage is in a rocky patch right now because of the number one reason that couples have conflict. And it's not infidelity because that's not as common. It's money issues. Money. And I think that they're having trouble that she's blaming him for blowing the campaign and blowing his political career. And that's money because they would have been millionaires many times over if he would have handled things differently. And when I saw that Ron and Casey DeSantis were holding hands during that interview, that's a sign of a troubled marriage to me. And the only trouble I could imagine is her blaming him for messing up the campaign, messing up their political future, and, of course, their future wealth. And I'd like to hear your thoughts on that. Do you think the holding hands of the DeSantises during the interview was a sign of a troubled marriage? 1-888-GO-CANE-1, 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, I'm just trying to find out, what do you think about a Trump Kennedy ticket? They've been talking about
A Trump what ticket?
Kennedy.
No, that's a bad idea, Kennedy. You're talking about Robert Kennedy Jr. Very bad idea.
Yeah, they think it'd be a great.
First off, that's not going to happen, okay? The president and vice president are nominated at the Republican convention. Robert Kennedy would have to switch parties to the Republican Party to do that. And do you think a Kennedy is going to switch and become a Republican?
Well, he's being booed.
Joe Kennedy may have his trust set up in a way that if you become a Republican, you don't get any money from that Kennedy Prohibition Trust from all their corruptions. There's no way Robert Kennedy Jr. is going to become a Republican, so he couldn't get the nomination without being one.
Okay, that was just mentioned. I just heard it.
I know a lot of people are talking about it, and he's still a Democrat. See, the reason I support Robert Kennedy is because he's messing things up for the Democrats, right? Democrats love a Kennedy. Like we love Trumps, they love Kennedys like we love Trumps. And he's messing things up. He's messing things up for the Democrats. So that's why I support him and what he's doing. All right, take care, Augustino. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Mike from Louisiana.
Hey, Michael.
You know, you're talking about this strategy that's leaked out, right? Try for a hung jury. But then again, here's the deal. That may be sort of a Hail Mary as well, because what has he been saying as of late, Trump? That when he gets back in, he's going to fire a majority of these federal workers, right? Or try to fire a lot.
Yeah, the jury pool.
The jury pool. So I know it only takes one to hang a jury, right?
Mm-hmm. That's right.
But again, these guys are all probably federal workers, and they're probably going to feel under threat when he's in the court.
Sure.
Yeah. So
like a not guilty could cost them their job because he gets back in. Yeah, exactly.
Yes, and that's the thing. And I think he ought to just, I don't want to say take his lumps, but he knows he's not going to get a fair trial.
You can't get a fair trial. You can't get a fair trial there. Now, so what do you think about Casey and Ron DeSantis holding hands during this NBC interview? Do you think that's a sign of a troubled marriage?
Yeah, I think it's more lack of money, like you're saying.
Well, he blew it, and she's blaming him.
If he would have just kept the mask on and, stayed undercover, he might be swimming in money by now.
That's right. That's right.
That was his first mistake, by taking off his mask.
Mm-hmm. The MAGA mask, because he was fake MAGA. All right, Mike, thanks for the call. Yeah, I don't know. You guys let me know what you think. Our number, 1-888-465-2631. It's toll free no matter where you are listening to us. 1-888-GO-CANE 1-888-465-2631. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. On the radio since 1977, celebrating 46 years on the radio this year. We'll take our last break of the first hour and be right back.
The cold, hard truth.
Oh, goodness. What do you guys, let me know, yes or no, is the holding hands of the DeSantises during the interview a sign of a marriage that's in trouble? Yes or no? Let me know. I say yes. It's very strange. Yes or no? The holding hands. Is it a sign of a troubled marriage? Yep. No. Yes. Yes. Oh, so it looks like the yeses are in the majority here. Yeah. Is the holding hands of the DeSantises during the interview a sign of a troubled marriage? Well, we got some no's, some yeses. We're still heavy on the yeses. Oh, Chuck says no. Well, I don't know. I guess we're 50-50 at this point. Then why do you think they're holding hands during the interview? You don't think she's pissed off at him? That she doesn't blame him for blowing their chance to be president and vice president of the United States? Come on. Remember that song, Secret Lovers? Who sang Secret Lovers? Anybody remember? I remember that song. It was on the radio constantly. Who sang Secret Lovers? Let's see. Does anyone know? I remember. To try to solidify the campaign, Chuck says. Atlantic Star. That's right. Who said Atlantic Star? William Green. That's right. Secret Love. If I say the lyrics, I'll sing, and that'll clear out the chat room because I can't say the lyrics without singing it. I know that song. It was on so much, and the video was on MTV for months every morning before I left for school. Secret Lovers, that's what we are. I can hear the song in my head. I should not have mentioned that song. Now I hear that damn song. I'll have that song in my head all day now. What happened to Atlantic Star?
Asthma triggers are everywhere, from dust mites, head dander, and pollen, to smog and smoke. An asthma attack can strike anywhere, anytime. Be prepared with quick-acting Primatene Mist. Clinically proven to open airways quickly.
They got old, yeah. Lionel Richie? No. Atlantic Star, not Lionel Richie. It sounds like it could have been a Lionel Richie song.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is on the air.
All right, welcome back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. We've covered a lot. And in just a moment, I'm going to get to the latest big story that exposes Vivek Ramaswamy to be a man you cannot trust. I'm going to get to that in a moment, but I was talking at the top of the hour, the heat index in Palm Beach through the Treasure Coast is going to be 114 degrees today. 114 degrees is the heat index, and it's hot. It is hot. Let me tell you, it's going to be hot, and and at night it's hot too. And you know what I do to be the perfect temperature every night and to sleep well? Well, of course, it's the MyPillow 2.0 with cooling technology. I've been sleeping on the MyPillow 2.0 since February. We got it the Wednesday after we got back from our cruise. And they're buy one, get one free with the promo code KANE at checkout, KANE. The MyPillow 2.0 with cooling technology keeps your head and face the perfect temperature all night long. You'll never flip the pillow over again looking for the cool side. And like everything Mike Lindell makes, it's very high quality. It has that same patented fill inside that Mike Lindell invented. And the outside has the cooling material, and they're washable and dryable, and you'll love them. So go to MyPillow.com and order your MyPillow 2.0 with cooling technology. It's buy one, get one free with our promo code KANE at checkout, KANE, or call 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879, promo code KANE, KANE. All right, so Vivek Ramaswamy, I'm going to play a clip here. I got a lot of criticism after the show yesterday for exposing Vivek Ramaswamy. I did a YouTube video just on him over the weekend, which is on my YouTube channel, if you guys check it out, that goes into a lot of details about this guy's background, which are very bad, including that George Soros' brother paid for his graduate school education. He's a Soros fellow, among other things. And I was saying, you have been saying, we cannot trust this guy. So this audio is not the best, but beggars cannot be choosers. But I'm going to play it anyway. And I think you can understand it. I'll help you by telling you what's said. But Ramaswamy, have you seen the story that Ramaswamy says that Juneteenth is a useless holiday? Yeah. Juneteenth became a federal holiday because this senile old coot that takes bribes, Joe Biden, was sucking up because of George Floyd, trying to get black support back to the Democrat Party, and he made it a federal holiday. But Ramaswamy says that it's a useless holiday, right? And I know those of us who are MAGA most of us probably agree it probably should not be a national holiday. Let me play what Ramaswamy said about that. This is recent, and you've seen this all over social media and in the news. Vivek Ramaswamy saying that Juneteenth is a useless holiday. Listen.
You said we were going to have a holiday. You said you need to cancel Juneteenth or one of the other useless holidays. Do you think Juneteenth is a useless holiday?
I basically do. Yeah.
Do you think Memorial Day, Veterans Day are useless holidays?
I don't, because I stand with the presumption of time-tested traditions. Like I said, religion is, I call these things cults. I won't dignify them as religious because religion has stood the test of time. And so I think that if we made a national commemorative holiday for everything that's important that happened in our history, we'd have no working days left. But I think that the spirit of Juneteenth, we already channeled into other holidays, like Martin Luther King Day, like President's Day. I think we can commemorate the spirit of that holiday separately. So I think that we shouldn't have redundant holidays that celebrate overlapping purposes. It should have a distinct purpose. And I think, let's be honest, the reason for making that a holiday was under political duress. It was a political hostage situation on the back of the death of George Floyd. And I think that should not be how we create holidays. We should not create holidays with a cultural gun to our head. And that's what happened with Juneteenth.
Okay, now I know the audio quality is not so great on that, but like I say, beggars can't be choosers. That's Ramaswamy, and that's recent. And he is saying that Juneteenth is a useless holiday. And everything he said there, you probably agree with, and I do too. He said we celebrate these things already through Martin Luther King Day, President's Day, and others, and you know, this is virtue signaling by Biden after George Floyd, and there's just too many federal holidays. The country couldn't function. Everything he said, all the right things, right? And he said it more than once. After this interview, this came up because he was on stage giving a speech to a group on the campaign trail, and he said in that speech that Juneteenth is a useless holiday, and he made a case for it, like he did in this interview. Right? And you probably think, well, why are you giving Ramaswamy a hard time, man? You've got Vivek Ramaswamy derangement syndrome. Well, no, I don't. This guy tells you what you want to hear and says all the right things. I'm very suspicious of him. So this week he's saying Juneteenth is a useless holiday and says everything that conservatives would agree with to back up that statement. This is Ramaswamy in crystal clear audio in June, actually on Juneteenth. Listen to this. This isn't June 5 years ago or 10 years ago, okay? This is June. Listen.
We live in a beautiful country. America is blessed with natural beauty in every sense. But the thing that makes our country beautiful actually isn't even the scenery. It's the vision of what this place can be. The place where no matter who you are, or where your parents came from, or what your skin color is, that you still get ahead in this country based on your own hard work, your own commitment, your own dedication. That's the American dream that I lived. It's the American dream we want to give to the next generation. That's what we celebrate on Juneteenth. We don't just look back and flog ourselves. That's beside the point. What we celebrate is how far we've come. And as a first-generation American myself, you better believe I'm proud of it. Happy Juneteenth, everybody. Take it easy and we'll talk soon.
Happy Juneteenth. And by the way, that noise, for some reason, Ramaswamy made that video sitting in a boat in a small body of water, and it sounds like an aluminum boat, and the water's hitting the boat. I don't know why he did it like that. But so that is Ramaswamy saying Happy Juneteenth, saying we celebrate Juneteenth, right? Very strange, very strange. And that was during Juneteenth, which is June, because he's wishing everybody Happy Juneteenth. And now he's saying it's a useless holiday. And by the way, Vivek Ramaswamy tweeted that out, okay? And that is this June 2023. So 2 months ago, less than 2 months ago, like 6 weeks ago. So 6 weeks ago, he's praising Juneteenth, He's saying happy Juneteenth, explaining why we celebrate. He says we as if he celebrates it. And now 6 weeks later, he says it's a useless holiday. Come on. You know, you go back with President Trump, you go watch his interviews with Rona Barrett and Sally Jesse Raphael and Phil Donahue and all those old fossils. He was saying the same thing back then that he's saying now, including about China, which was amazing. He was one of the first people nationally to call out China. Ramaswamy cannot be trusted, and he's trying to weasel his way into the MAGA circles, and all these millennials that work for Ben Shapiro and the Daily Caller and all these other Breitbart, they're all excited because he's a millennial. You can't trust this guy. He says whatever he has to say to that particular audience. That makes him dangerous. This isn't just rhino wishy-washy. That's too kind. The man stands for nothing, and he's got that Soros connection. So, you know, if this was Juneteenth a few years ago, I'd be giving him a lot of grief, okay? But you can't even challenge my point when this was just 6 weeks ago, and it's on his Twitter where he's praising it. So something's off here. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, it's Patty from New Jersey. Good morning.
Hey, Patty.
Hey, you are 100% right. We've got, with Vivek, it's Obama 2.0. You never heard from a lot from him, and now all of a sudden he's a smooth talker. He's coming out. He's hitting on all the MAGA points. Well, people are starting to dig up his past, and he's. Well,
this is just 6 weeks. This is just 6 weeks ago that he's wishing everybody a happy Juneteenth. 6 weeks ago. Now it's useless. What's going on here?
Yep, and he paid Wikipedia. It's coming out that he paid Wikipedia to take stuff off of his page on Wikipedia. You know, his mom was involved in promoting one of his pharmaceuticals that wound up failing. They pumped and dumped that stock, and that's where he made all his money. You know, in 10 years, you want to tell me this guy gets out of school and miraculously becomes a billionaire in 10 years, and we're not supposed to question this?
Oh, no, don't question it. Don't question it because he's MAGA, don't you know? Don't you know he's MAGA? All the conservative online MAGA millennial media are telling you so.
Right, well, no, what I'm saying is we're not supposed to question it.
Well, I'm going to question it.
We have to keep our eye on that guy, and because he's infiltrating, just like a lot of these other guys, make it seem like they're, look all over in all the lower offices. They've done it. They come over, they hit on all the points that they think that the Republicans want to hear. They get voted in office. Look at all those people out there, all those attorney generals and everything else that voted down on things that they should have stood strong on, and they didn't because they were not MAGA, they were not Republican.
Well, with Ramaswamy, what I was trying to explain to Steve yesterday, okay, he's not going to get elected. He's not going to be president or vice president, okay? Not now, but what he's doing is he's building up a following among young MAGA conservatives so that he has a seat at the table, and he could very easily find himself as an advisor to President Trump or to the next MAGA president. And we got to expose him. He stands for nothing. He's nothing except some things that I don't know. I mean, it's not that Soros connection is enough to disqualify him right there.
Absolutely, 100%. And like I said, you've never heard anything from him, and he reminds me of Obama all over again.
Exactly. Now listen, I got to run for our break. It's time for the top there, but thanks for the call. And I'm not spending my days researching Ramaswamy. This is just This just popped up on my Twitter feed this morning. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name's Brian Craig. The media, they're covering for him. We'll be back after this.
WWNN Pompano Beach, WIRK HD3 Indiantown. Programming paid for by Vic Canales Media Group. Broadcasting from the Rogue Studio.
All right.
Call the Rogues Law Group, where winning is a habit. 561-570-5700. 561-570-5700. Rogues, winning for you and our community. Your home for the Steve Kane Show. From the Palm Beach Patio Furniture Weather Center, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created, here's the oldies forecast.
Good morning, everybody. We have an unusual situation in South Florida today with an excessive heat warning in effect for all of the Treasure Coast in Palm Beach County until 7 o'clock tonight, meaning we have really ramped up the heat and we will see conditions up feeling like 114 or above this afternoon. So excessive danger with the heat out there to heat-borne illness. Just be aware. Other than that,
Now, if you've not already done it, order your Mighty Mega Lion. This is available exclusively through us. This is my product. Well, it's mine and my wife and Dee's product. We created, the three of us together, partnered up, my wife, myself, and Dee from the chat, and created and designed the Mighty Mega Lion, available exclusively through us. Cute tail. So go to mightymagalion.com. I put the link in the live chat. It's pinned in the live chat. There's also a link in the description, and order your Mighty Mega Lion. Pretty cool, huh? Isn't it? Look at the detail on that. It's very well made. Makes a great gift. Oh, yeah. I know some of you already bought them, and some have been buying multiple. Pretty cool. That's right. And they get shipped directly from me and my wife. So, that's right. Yep. Get yours. No, I mean, this latest story on Ramaswamy. I mean, you know, that wasn't last June. That was June 2023. It's on his Twitter. It's on his Twitter. Crazy. Insane. I mean, oh, come on. We can't let this guy into the this guy could destroy the MAGA movement. Oh my goodness. Everyone's on strike in California. The writers, the actors, now the municipal workers. It's like a trend. I got to listen. We have some new commercials that are starting today, so I'm listening to make sure they got the right ones. I don't know offhand, Don. If you go to mightymagalion.com, the price is right there. Someone asked me if I'm growing a beard. I just don't like shaving. So, that's all. No, I'm not growing a beard. I'm already itching. Oh, I was with Trump back in 2011. He was toying with the idea of running.
Are you living your best life? Are you feeling the way you know you should be? This is John, CFO at Lighthouse Medical Center. Our hormone optimization therapy programs have helped so many people get back to feeling the way they did in their 20s. They're full of energy after a long day, reduced their risk of heart disease, sexual vigor,
and the Mighty Mega Lion is also, it is an exclusive limited edition product available only through us. So it's our first entrepreneurial venture like this.
Let our medical team get you optimized and living your best life. Our family medical practice has been serving South Florida for over 71 years. Let us show you what personalized medical care and being treated like family feels like. Call us at 754-222.
No, it is important, Jimmy Mac.
754-222-6642. Or visit us at lighthousemedicalcenter.com to schedule your consultation today.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve King Show with Brian Craig.
All right, hour number 2 has begun. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show, our number one 888 Go Kane 1. I brought up a lot in the first hour, so I'll take some calls before I bring up anything new. But I covered a lot in that first hour, no doubt. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Conservative Doug.
Hey, Doug.
You know,
And then, you mentioned the heat index. Here in New York City, they're going to stop ice cream trucks from using gasoline. So they basically put them out of business. I mean, because of global warming. These people are so sick. It's never going to end. They just keep talking this nonsense, and nobody ever does anything about it.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, you mentioned also that Kennedy could not become a Democrat. I mean, could not change from Democrat to Republican. Well, you mentioned the other day, there's been presidents and vice presidents from two different parties. There's been three of them.
Well, the way it used to work differently. In the early days, the loser became vice president. Okay, and they changed that. So yeah, so that's why there were presidents of different parties in the past. The loser, that means that like Hillary Clinton would have been Trump's vice president in 2016. That's how it used to work. And it wasn't very effective. Like John Adams was Washington's vice president, right? And he was in the opposing party, and Washington wouldn't even let him in like cabinet meetings.
It's amazing. But I looked into it a little bit.
But hey, listen, could Hillary have been a worse vice president than Pence, though, if you think about it?
Yeah, sure. That Pence homeboy. What a guy. But I looked into it, and there's nothing in the Constitution that prevents two different people from two different.
No, but it's the process now. The process was different in the past. Like I said, the loser became vice president. This happened in the first few elections. I don't know how many offhand. Okay, and that's not the way it is. Now the vice president is nominated with the presidential candidate at the nominating convention, and you would have to be a Republican to get the Republican nomination for vice president.
I looked into it. I must have missed that because from what I saw, that it said that.
Yeah, and you really think Trump's going to have a hard enough time getting through these rhino snakes? Do you think they're going to let him, even if that were possible? Do you see them letting him? All right, let's nominate this Democrat, Robert Kennedy Jr., just to make sure that he really wins. It's just not going to happen.
No doubt. He's not going to get elected. He's been blacklisted, kind of.
But we don't want Robert. He's still a Democrat. Don't be fooled. I know he seems like a Republican because the Democrats have gotten so radical, but he is still a Democrat and a liberal.
Yeah, man. Even the liberals don't like him for some reason. Just because he's a Democrat doesn't mean that they like him.
It's amazing to me. If you're a Kennedy and you kill a woman, the Democrats don't care. They'll let you for life. But if you criticize Fauci and Biden, they're out to destroy you.
Yeah, and say anything negative about vaccination.
Yeah. All right, Doug, I appreciate the call. Now, I just heard at the top of the hour news that the municipal workers are going on strike in California. Everyone's on strike in California, right? The writers, the actors, and now the garbage men and other municipal workers, right? Except police and fire, they're going to not strike. And striking is becoming a trend in California just because others are doing it. And recently, there was another strike going on recently that may still be going on with hotel workers, I believe. Because I was watching a vlogger in California doing a vlog on something, and he showed some striking workers in front of a hotel or something. But anyway, the actors' strike, I understand what they're talking about. Actors live off their residuals, and they're not really getting residuals off of their content that is on streaming services. And I don't know if the old system of residuals is even possible with the streaming services today, because there's so much, it takes so much money to put that content together, and there's so much competition and everything. I just don't think it's possible. And there's a lot of actors that are not famous people, but they earn a lot of things and are rich. I mean, super rich just from residuals. And I understand that they're fighting for it, but I just don't think it's possible. But, Hollywood's failing for so many reasons. The wokeness is a big part of it. And another one is, I talk a lot. My daughter lives in Los Angeles, and I keep telling her to go to these picket lines that all these movie stars are there. And like, I saw almost every cast member of every Star Trek show in front of Paramount Pictures recently, because I follow some of these people on social media. I said, go, there's all these movie stars and all these big time A-list movie stars are at these, and she hasn't gone. And and the reason that is because my daughter's 24. Kids that age really don't care about actors anymore. They care about TikTokers or that lunatic that caused the riot in New York. They don't care about actors anymore. They're just not interested. And that's part of the reason they're not getting paid what they think they should get paid. People just don't care about them or their content anymore. And wokeness, and I mean, there's some huge movie stars and TV stars on these picket lines. If I was out there, I'd be there. I'd be there to take selfies and everything else with some of these people, even though I don't support striking. But there's a comedian whose name I don't know, but he's in a lot of things, and he was in Modern Family. And in Modern Family, he played the Manny. You know the Manny? He was a man who was a nanny, and he called him a man. He's a very funny actor. And he gave an interview. Oh, hold on a second. Hold on. Not ready for you yet, all right? I didn't call action yet. He gave an interview on a podcast, this actor, and he was talking about comedy movies in Hollywood and what's going on. Because he's a very funny comedic actor and writer. I've seen him in many things, but he's one of those character actors who you know by their face, but you never know their name, right? And listen to what he says about Hollywood and comedy.
There used to be something like every studio would put out several comedies every year, and there was like 45 or 46 comedies in the theaters every year. So about every week or every other week or so, there's a new comedy in the theaters, and then now last year there was like 6 or 7.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
And people need, and the crazy thing is it feels like people need comedy more than ever.
Yeah, I feel like they want it. So that's what this movie was. It was like, and there's no like hidden message. I feel like nowadays, people like you get to the end of what you think is a comedy,
Right.
and you're like, is that about global warming?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, is there like some deep hidden message that I'm supposed to recycle more, or like,
Yeah.
there has to be something else.
Right.
with
Oh,
it.
the moon is trans? Is that what?
Yeah.
Is that the surprise?
Yeah, you're okay. Well, I guess we do have to think about that, don't we? Yeah.
I agree. There's a lot of there was a great movie.
And that's what your David Spade and your movie is about?
Yeah.
Trans Moon? Yeah. You guys are just the people to spread that message.
Oh, it's about transportation. It's about a lot of vehicles admitting who they really are.
Yeah, cars wanting to be motorcycles wishing they were scooters.
Yeah, it's where things are, man.
Okay, and that is an A-list comedic actor who's got a movie out right now he's promoting. I just don't know his name. But he was in Modern Family. He's a very funny guy. I've seen him in a lot of things, And it's just like with the U.S. women's soccer team we were talking about yesterday, right? Wokeness is destroying so many things. It's destroying Hollywood. It's destroying comedy. It's destroying the unity that the country has behind our national teams at events like the Women's World Cup. Everything that wokeness touches, I can't say what President Trump says on the radio, but it turns to, you know what? Wokeness is a poison that destroys everything it touches. Look at Bud Light. Chick-fil-A. Wokeness has gotten to Chick-fil-A with their diversity officers and LGBTQ groups and all this stuff that Chick-fil-A's brought in. Everything that woke touches is destroyed. Bud Light, Chick-fil-A's taken a hit, Hollywood, sports, the NFL was a tough, they did all that. That's the way it is. And it's because the country is not there. Now, we're going to take our break. When we get back, I'll get back into the latest on the Trump cases. Don't go anywhere. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig. We'll be right back.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-KANE1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Brian Craig here with a question for seniors and those who care about them. How would you like to have instant access to a healthcare advocate at the touch of a button? Would that make life easier for you? You can with I Will Advocates. I Will Advocates.
Welcome. If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe, guys. Harry's razors went woke? Really? Isn't that something? That's sad. No, but they've gotten woke. They've gotten very woke.
Listen up for all the locals out there. It's time for a deal. Half price entrees. Yep, you heard me right. 50% off all dinners from 4 to 6.
You go woke, you go broke. Yeah.
20% off the whole entire menu to go, including the best big crust pizza in town. Forget about it. Where else are you going to get delicious beef brajol, linguine clam sauce, lasagna, pork chops? Nowhere. My prices are insane. Stop going to those spaghetti joints. You're not going to find great food and entertainment like at Uncle Eddie's. Where else are you going to go and have the owner sing for you? Come down to Uncle Eddie's, 4050 US 1 north of Donald Ross Road, 561-508-7799. Hurry up in.
Do you suffer from neuropathy? Maybe you do and you don't even know it. Do you have numbness, pain, burning, or tingling in your hands and feet? Muscle weakness, loss of balance, muscle twitching? Are you not sleeping? Does it feel like pins and needles in your hands and feet? Maybe you have no feeling at all. The symptoms can make life unbearable, but there is help at the Lighthouse Medical Center. Call 754-222-6642 for a no-charge consultation and say goodbye to your neuropathy symptoms. 754-222-6642.
Like any good agent, we're here for the...
It's the last commercial. We'll be back. If you all like the video, go woke, go broke. That's right.
But because we're realtors, we're here for so much more.
No doubt.
Agents who are realtors volunteer at nearly 3 times the national average. We're working to broaden access to credit, increase affordable housing supply, and ensure fair housing for all. And realtors are bound by a code of ethics. We're here for it all. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, hear us in Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at TrueOldiesFLA.com.
All right. Welcome back, one and all. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Our number 1-888-GO-KANE-1. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
It's Ian with Cruise and Travel.
Oh, Ian, you caught me off guard. Our travel agent is... See, we take our calls screenless, so every once in a while you'll hear we'll grab somebody when I'm not prepared. But hey, that's good. Ian is our travel agent for all of our MAGA cruises. And, of course, our next cruise is on the flagship of Celebrity Cruise Lines, the Celebrity Beyond, April 27th. To the ABC Islands, Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao. And we have the most epic shore excursions on this cruise that we have ever had. And that's saying a lot because on that last one, when we did the catamaran, that was like one of the most exciting days. You know, we had that catamaran out on the ocean with an open bar, and then my MAGA hat flew off, and we all dived to save the MAGA. And the cruise before that, we went to that Blue Lagoon and went kayaking. It was beautiful. And the shore excursions are tough to top, but we have shore excursions in every port this time, including one stop we have 2. And I'll be on all the excursions with you guys. So I asked Ian to call in today. I just forgot. And go over quickly the shore excursions because they're just so amazing. So tell us about them, Ian.
Okay, so in Aruba, we have a private catamaran tour of the island that includes snorkeling and a beach barbecue with, of course, an open bar. In Curacao, we've got a city tour that'll stop at the Blue Curacao Distillery for samples and a tour of
the Laraja orange fields, and then in the evening we have a sunset catamaran tour with open bar.
Oh, notice there's a constant with the open bar.
We have to extend our drink packages.
That's right, yeah. That's mostly at my request. I mean, I insist on it. We got to have open bar on everything we do.
And Bonaire, which is an absolutely stunning, beautiful island, we are going to a private beach club for a day at the beach with all the amenities you can imagine. It's going to be fantastic, and all of these are private.
Yeah. Yeah, they are, and they're beautiful, and we're going to have a great time. And those of you that have been on our past cruises, you know what I'm talking about. Those of you that have never been, you're going to be in for the greatest time, and it's a great group of MAGA people. Our family has grown after each and every cruise. This is our 5th annual cruise. Call Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot, and this ship is filling up. And that's not some sales pitch, guys, because I didn't realize this. I called Ian last week to make some adjustments with my cabin, and you were telling me it's filling up. So call in and just call Ian. I'm going to give you the number, and make your reservation, make a deposit, and lock in your cabin, because at some point it's going to be filled. Certainly certain cabin sizes are going to go quicker than others, but you want to lock in that you got a cabin, and you want to lock in the price because there's some great specials going on. Ian's number at Cruise and Travel Depot is 561-244-5779. 561-244-5779. Give him a call, and I'll see you there. All right, Ian, it's good to hear from you.
Likewise, take care.
All right, take care. All right, take care. Yeah, the only time of year I drink is on the cruises, guys. I don't, I'm like the Amish. I'm like Rumspringa. You know, when they let the Amish leave and go out and like live in the real world and party for a while. That's kind of like me. Every year on the cruise, it's kind of like a festival in Star Trek, if you're familiar with that. So anyway, getting back to the news, and there's a lot of it to cover. I want to play this clip of Chris Christie, and it's important to play. This is Chris Christie yesterday.
What's the truth on Trump?
He's a completely self-centered, self-possessed, self-consumed, angry old man. And he doesn't care about anybody else other than him. And if he were ever to become president again, I'll take him at his word. He said, I am your retribution. Well, he's not our retribution, Bob. He will be his own retribution.
Why is everyone else in the field seemingly avoiding Trump, tiptoeing around him?
I think it's one of two things. They're either unwilling to do it because they have aspirations, maybe a vice presidential bid or a Trump cabinet, and some of them are just unable to do it. If you want to be the man, Bob, you got to beat the man.
Okay, yeah, he's a nasty guy. By the way, his attorney in Bridgegate was Christopher Wray, who likes to break into Trump's house and all this stuff. Okay, see, this is why the Fox News debate, we don't want President Trump doing it. The only reason that they have money, I want you guys to think about this. Chris Christie is qualified for the debate. How much money do they have to raise to qualify? I forgot off the top of my head, but it's a lot. In fact, Pence wasn't quite there the last I heard. And, you know, the people that are running in the Republican primary are a bunch of posers and grifters, right? Weak. Ron DeSantis has done 2 debates. He got his clock cleaned in both of them against defective people. Charlie Crist and Andrew Gillum beat him. Okay, and the other ones are weak, except Chris Christie. And these never-Trumpers have put up millions of dollars. See, Chris Christie's presidential campaign is a fake presidential campaign. The only reason they've put millions of dollars behind his fake campaign is because they think they can trick Donald Trump to go to the debate and have a man who's the size of a baby elephant, larger than a pony, Chris Christie, bark at him like this. Because he's nasty, he hates him, and he's very comfortable getting nasty. Remember how he used to go after I remember once he had a town hall when he was governor of New Jersey. It was hilarious. I played this on the air at the time, and he's taking questions from the audience. And a lady gets up, I'm a school teacher, and we're not paid enough money. And he says, and Chris Christie said, if you think teachers aren't paid enough, get another job. You knew how much teachers made when you went to college for that profession. It was hilarious. So he's nasty in debate. So think about how much money these never-Trumpers have spent on Chris Christie just to have an opportunity for him to bark at Donald Trump at a debate. And Fox News, okay? Fox News. I told you guys, I watched Fox News last week when the indictment was coming down in D.C. And now watched them in a while. I watched them last week because there was the breaking news of President Trump coming to town for the indictment. And I was watching everything. I don't even watch cable news, but I was watching MSNBC, CNN, and Fox. But Fox News was sucking up to Trump so much. They were saying positive things about him. Even Dana Perino, who's a Bushy, right? They're trying to trick him into doing the debate so that Chris Christie can yell at him and bark at him and accuse him. And I feel President Trump's not going to do it by every indication we get from President Trump, but the debates are a trap. And even if he doesn't do this one, the never-Trumpers will keep funding this fake presidential campaign of Chris Christie, hoping that the next debate Trump will do. That's what his whole campaign is about, because nobody else up there could even attempt to stand up to Trump. But Christie will, because he's a nasty thug. Okay? He's a scummy, nasty thug. And he's being paid a lot of money just to be in the wings to bark at Trump during a debate. So I say Trump does no debates. None. None. And that even goes when he's got the nomination against Joe Biden. That's my thoughts on it. Yours are welcome. 1-888-GO-CANE-1 is our number. We'll take our bottom of the hour break and be right back.
Making morning radio great again.
I mean, these guys are sick. If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe. This is the most pro-Donald Trump MAGA place you will find anywhere. Okay? Now, when I get back from the break, I'm going to get into... I got a bunch to get into. Let me queue up my stuff. Oh, yes. Hear that? Listen to this.
For all the Treasure Coast in Palm Beach County until 7 o'clock tonight, meaning we have really ramped up the heat and we will see conditions up feeling like 114.
114.
So excessive danger with the heat out there.
It could be higher. It didn't say about Broward because the news is a Palm Beach news, so I don't know what it's going to be in Broward. Oh my, 114. Oh yeah, absolutely. That's hot, man. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's awful. Get to Miami Beach? It's hot at Miami Beach, too. When you live in Florida, you don't have time to go to the beach. We're working. The beach is for tourists. Well, remember, the heat index is not what the real temperature is. That's what it feels like. Oh, yeah. I was watching Newsmax yesterday. Did you see they had Kim Guilfoyle filling in at the anchor desk on Newsmax yesterday? And she did great. She was on there with a guy I've never seen before who was pretty good, too. But I hope Kim Guilfoyle becomes regular in the anchor chair. Not just a guest, but like an anchor. She did really good. You know, some of these people, if you go to the beach, a lot of these tourists bring tents to the beach. I mean, like real tents. I don't know. They come to Florida on vacation. They go to the beach, and a tent that zips up completely. It's so strange. Very strange. Exactly. He should do no debates. None. Zero. Zero. You know, I have always wanted to stay at the fountain. When people, a lot of times listeners will message me and they want to go to Miami Beach. South Beach is a dump right now. But if they insist on coming to Miami, I tell them to stay at the Fontainebleau. You don't want to really go south at the Fontainebleau. It's been taken over by punks, the beach down there. But the Fontainebleau, I've never stayed there. That's where they filmed James Bond movies at. Which was the James Bond movie they did with Sean Connery? They filmed at the Fontainebleau. The Whitney Houston movie with Kevin Costner, The Bodyguard film there. Yeah, it's a good one. I know, I live right down the street from the beach, and I don't hardly ever go. The Man, welcome. Live and Let Die, yeah. Where am I? Okay. Just bringing up the next story I want to talk about. I'm going to take some calls, and I got another story I want to talk about. Miami Beach is nice. You just need to know where to go. You need to talk to a local to know where to go. Well, thank you, the man. I appreciate that. Yeah, if you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe. This is the most MAGA place on earth right here. You'll never hear me criticize nor disagree with President Trump. Ever. Ever, ever. And I say that with pride. Goldfinger was in Miami. Well, which one was at the Fontainebleau? Live and Let Die was not the Fontainebleau. Live and Let Die is not officially a James Bond movie. That's when they brought Sean Connery back. I think it was Goldfinger was the one at the Fontainebleau. That was the one. Live and Let Die he was older. Sean Connery. Roger Moore was James Bond, and it was a one-off. That's not. I think that is not even an official James Bond. It's got a great song, though, Paul McCartney, Live and Let Die. Here we go.
The Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig, celebrating 46 years on the air.
All right, callers on hold, stand by. I have brought up a lot of great topics today, if I say so myself. Our number 1-888-GO-KANE-1. I'll take some calls and then bring up some new stuff. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, good morning, Ryan. Rome, Wisconsin.
Hey, Rome, what's up?
So I'm going back to the woke thing. Now my husband's company, so they let the guys back who refused to participate in June Pride Month. They got to come back.
Okay, so let me give people an update. Rome, Wisconsin's husband is with a company where those who would not participate in Gay Pride Month were sent home from work, let go. So now they've reversed that, and they're bringing back the people that wouldn't do that.
Yep, he got to go back end of June, and they were supposed to give everybody back pay.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was deemed illegal, and a bunch of the guys just wouldn't go back. They went and found different jobs. So now, and my husband's still waiting for the back pay, by the way.
I bet.
Now, what they're doing is HR sent out all these forms that everybody needs to fill out their pronouns.
Oh, my goodness.
And he's like, I am not doing this. And he gave it right back to the boss, I'm not doing this. And then another thing that they started is they started these inclusive clubs where they have picked people from,
Let me ask you a question. When does this company have time to do business? They seem to.
so ridiculous.
It seems to be just an activist get-together.
It's so insane. So one of my husband's friends, his name is Julio. So, I mean, he sounds Mexican. He was put in charge of everybody who works there in the Mexican group to be inclusive.
Oh, my goodness.
He says, I absolutely am not doing this. I am an American. He goes, you are making all of us, you're trying to separate us.
By skin color. So these liberals are separating people based on the complexion of their skin.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness.
Over there, it is just ridiculous. Then the last thing is the maintenance guy happens to be really good friends with the owner of the company, so that's kind of where we get some of this inside info. They were out at some big company meeting get-together where he got to participate in, and the bartender was one of those, I don't know what the term is for it. It was a guy, but he was dressed as a girl, and so he got really mad, and he's like, look at this world is going insane. I am not purchasing a drink from this he-she. And the other bigwig that was sitting on the other side of him, that was his son.
Wow.
Fired.
Wow.
Yeah, so I mean, we figured out this is where.
Now let me. So you know, that's what happened to Disney, by the way. A lady president who is in charge of the entertainment of Disney, creating the movies and cartoons. She has 2 kids that have these gender things, and that's how this happened at Disney, and this is how it happens. You know, I don't. That's an interesting thing. I want to ask you a couple things about this, because one thing I'm able to do that not a lot of people can do, no matter what is going on in my life, when I'm at work, I don't let it affect me, okay? And no matter how bad it is, I can just tune it out while I'm at work. A lot of people can't do that. But what happens a lot of times, like in this instance you're talking about, you have an owner who's got some dysfunction in his family that he obviously doesn't deal with very well nor approve of. So he's compensating by pushing it on everybody that works for him. That's what it sounds like to me. And he is not very happy with this. What is his kid? What is his son?
Yeah, boy just as a girl.
Yeah, transgender. He's a transvestite. So he just doesn't like that his son dresses like a girl, and he's embarrassed and ashamed by it. So what he's doing to get through it is trying to normalize it in his circle by pushing it on everyone around him.
Insane. I hate hearing all of this when it happens. My husband once again is refusing to do certain things, so we'll see what happens next. He says he's not going to. My husband's Native American, and he will not run any of those inclusive groups, and he's not.
Well, what is he really an Indian? Like what Indian is he? Like Cherokee? What is he?
Menominee.
Okay. Okay. Does he could use that to solidify his position against these wokesters? You go out and you fire a Native American whose lands were stolen by you know he could use. You said that they brought people back who they let go because they wouldn't celebrate Pride Month because it was deemed illegal. How'd that happen? Did somebody go to an employment lawyer and sue?
Yes.
See,
somebody went higher up and sued, and I mean, none of us had to even pay any sort of funds into it.
Yeah.
And we just heard it was happening, and the phone call came in, come back to work, and, the back pay and everything's going to be great and fuzzy and back to normal. But it's not back to normal. It's gotten even worse.
How many months of back pay?
It's going to be the 4 weeks that he lost of work.
Well, I would push through it to get the back pay while I was looking for another job, because they're just going to set you up on something else. If they had to bring you back, somebody as radical as this under these circumstances, they'll just find another reason to dump you. Oh my goodness, your poor husband. What a freak show.
It's crazy. You wouldn't expect it from this company. Once in a long time ago, this was a place everybody wanted to work for. This was, the dream job, but it's not anymore.
Well, the transphobe is the owner of the company. He's the one who's the transphobe, not your husband and the others. He's trying to make himself feel good by normalizing what he's ashamed of in his circle. And that's a little psychobabble, but I think I'm pretty good at that stuff.
Yeah, it makes sense. I happen to agree.
Mm-hmm. All right, take care. I appreciate the call.
All right, bye.
All right, take care. Wow, Rome, Wisconsin. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
It's Maddie from Sunrise.
Hey, what's up?
Here's what's up. About Vivek, a woman called you and said that the reason he became a millionaire is
billionaire,
with the stocks, pump and dump. If that's the case, that is a huge thing and needs to be talked.
Well, I don't know. I don't know anything about that, okay? I know in 2010 he couldn't afford college, and then Soros' brother paid for his college, and now he's retired at 37 and he's a multi-billionaire. And from the he worked in the financial industry and then got involved in the pharmaceutical. I don't know anything about wrongdoing there. He is not who he says he is.
Yeah, that's for sure. I don't like him at all. He's a phony, and that's it. He's a phony. But if it is true about the pump and dump, he's finished. He's finished.
Well, I don't know. That's, that kind of thing. First off, I don't know, so I'm not going to make any comments on that. And also, that's too gobbledygooky intellectual for most people to grab onto. Hey, listen, I appreciate the call, but I'm going to recap that real quick before the break about Ramaswamy. I found something new that I just came across on Twitter today. I was not looking for this. It just popped up in my feed, and you may have seen the story, right? Vivek Ramaswamy says Juneteenth is a useless holiday, right? And I think most MAGA people will agree. The thing with Juneteenth, it's a weaponized holiday. And it's a day that should be remembered and everything. Juneteenth is the day when the final slaves that were held in bondage by the Democrat slave masters were told by the Republican Union Army that arrived in Texas that they were free men and women and children, that they weren't slaves anymore. And what Juneteenth has been turned into is a real nasty holiday, and it's very destructive. But Vivek Ramaswamy says Juneteenth is a useless holiday, and he makes a good case that we'll all agree with. Let me play this low-quality audio of him telling us that Juneteenth is a useless holiday.
You said we would have a holiday, maybe cancel Juneteenth or one of those other useless holidays. Do you think Juneteenth is a useless holiday?
I basically do. Yeah.
Do you think Memorial Day, Veterans Day are useless holidays?
I don't, because I stand with the presumption of time-tested traditions. Like I said, religion is, I call these things cults. I won't dignify them as religious because I believe religion has stood the test of time. And so I think that if we made a national commemorative holiday for everything that's important that happened in our history, we'd have no working days left. But I think in the spirit of Juneteenth, we already channel into other holidays, like Martin Luther King Day, like President's Day. I think we can commemorate the spirit of that holiday separately. So I think that we shouldn't have redundant holidays that celebrate overlapping purposes. It should have a distinct purpose. And I think, let's be honest, the reason for making that a holiday was under political duress. It was a political hostage situation on the back of the death of George Floyd. And I think that should not be how we create holidays. We should not create holidays with a cultural gun to our head. And that's what happened with the Jews.
Okay, so I apologize for the low-quality audio, but I can't get him to restate it. And what he said there is all the right things. It's all the right things about. I agree with pretty much everything he said. I wouldn't call it useless because I think there could be a positive thing to teach how the Republicans freed blacks from the Democrat slavery operation, but it's not used that way. It's useless how it's counterproductive, and it's a very destructive holiday. But I agree with everything he says there. I really do. And he said all the right things about Juneteenth. No problem. However, 6 weeks ago, Ramaswamy made a video about Juneteenth, and he posted it to his Twitter. So I'm going to play that for you now before the break, and then I want to hear your thoughts on this at 1-888-GO-CANE-1. So he's telling us, And this is all over the news around America today. Vivek Ramaswamy says Juneteenth is a useless holiday. It's all over the news. I've seen it in multiple major corporate media outlets. But 6 weeks ago, when it was Juneteenth, this is Ramaswamy talking about Juneteenth 6 weeks ago.
We live in a beautiful country. America is blessed with natural beauty in every sense. But the thing that makes our country beautiful actually isn't even the scenery. It's the vision of what this place can be. The place where no matter who you are, or where your parents came from, or what your skin color is, that you still get ahead in this country based on your own hard work, your own commitment, your own dedication. That's the American dream that I lived. It's the American dream we want to give to the next generation. That's what we celebrate on Juneteenth. We don't just look back and flog ourselves. That's beside the point. What we celebrate is how far we've come. And as a first-generation American myself, you better believe I'm proud of it. Happy Juneteenth, everybody. Take it easy and we'll talk soon.
Happy Juneteenth, and we celebrate Juneteenth, and he's praising Juneteenth. That was 6 weeks ago. That was in June. It is August 8th. That was June 20th. Completely opposite position. That's worse than a typical politician. There's no transition. So what happened? I've been telling you, he says all the right things that you want to hear, but you got to watch out for him. I want to hear your thoughts on this conflict with Ramaswamy. In particular, some of you out there who were giving me a lot of grief yesterday, some on the air, many off the air. I want to hear you agree or disagree with me on the air about this at 1-888-GO-KANE-1. 888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
The cold, hard truth.
I mean, that's crazy.
Right here on The Steve Kane Show.
Hey, this is Gabriel with Florida Cash Home Buyers.
Completely insane. And I didn't seek this out. This just popped up on my Twitter feed this morning. Now, by the way, guys, you know, this heat wave, go to mypillow.com and order the MyPillow 2.0 with cooling technology. It's got the same patented fill inside that the regular MyPillow has, and the cover is made of that cooling technology, which keeps your face and your head cool and comfortable in the perfect temperature all night long. You'll never flip the pillow over for the cool side. And with our promo code KANE at checkout, KANE, the MyPillow 2.0 is buy one, get one free. It's buy one, get one free. And remember, you can take advantage of all the specials at MyPillow.com with our promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout, not just the ones I talk about. You can also order by phone, 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879, promo code KANE, K-A-N-E. All right, it's a good deal. I mean, I have never heard a flip-flop like that. And I'm thinking, there's been politicians that have said one thing and done another and changed positions, but that dramatic in 6 weeks? Can you think of any politicians that in such a short time period have flipped on a position just like that?
If you have an insurance claim, call your insurance company immediately. Then call Tom Laporta. New laws are in effect that allow Tom to negotiate directly with your insurance company on the cost of all repairs.
I haven't.
Necessarily need to employ a public adjuster or a lawyer. Tom can handle any type of roofing job too. Residential roofing and repair, commercial roofs, schools, municipal buildings, office buildings, emergency repairs. If it's roofing, Tom Laporta can do it. Call Tom Laporta right now. 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. And online,
Hi, it's Katie with Will For You, and I'm sure you've already heard the news. We are moving, and we are so
Not that much. Joe Biden's a Democrat, a Republican. A Republican. Have you heard a Republican flip that quickly, so dramatically?
Friendly, fresh, and convenient. We offer lots of options from America's top brands and always the best prices. Mention that and receive a free gift from one local to another. Will For You is your hometown flooring store that has it all. Will For You in Jupiter Store and Will For the letter UFLA.com.
Do you suffer from neuropathy? I did until I went to Lighthouse Medical Center in Pompano. Numbness, pain, burning, tingling in my hands and feet, muscle weakness, loss of balance, muscle twitching, have all but disappeared. Say goodbye to your neuropathy symptoms. Call Lighthouse Medical Center for a free consultation. 754-222-6642. Tell them Steve Kane sent you.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is on the air.
All right, we are back. Our number 1-888-GO-KANE-1. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. U.S. Plantation. This guy Ramaswamy, you were commenting when I turned on my radio here, with his hypocrisy of the Juneteenth. Let him keep talking. Let him put himself in a hole like the rest of the candidates. I have a new name for him, if you don't mind using it once in a while. Ramaswamy. Ramaswamy could be a good...
I've heard some people say Ramaswampy. I like that one too. That's a good one. But here's the thing, okay? The media are covering for this guy, and he's so rich. I don't know if he buys his time on the news or what, but he gets like free ride coverage and interviews all the time. And this, if he made this comment even last Juneteenth, I'd give him some grief, but not as, this was 6 weeks ago, this recent June.
Yeah, but let these candidates put themselves in a hole, and, it just makes Trump look better, no matter how bad people think. People who are opposing Trump, I mean, come on, you listen to these morons, and you're like, okay, maybe Trump isn't that bad after all. I mean, I'm thinking like that,
Yeah. All right, take care. Now, I want to talk about Dr. Philip Appleton and his laser wave pain treatment. He has fixed me up and rid me of pain 5 times. 5 times. 4 of them from injuries from my skateboarding, which I don't know if I could retire from the skateboard. I have, on my longboard, I have something called a land paddle, which, so you don't have to kick and you just paddle, kind of like they do in Venice, it's kind of like that, but it's for the land. I don't know. But anyway, he has rid me of pain 5 times. My knee pain, my shoulder twice, my arthritis, and another injury. 5 times. And the pain hasn't returned. And this last accident on the skateboard was far worse than I've let on. Not because I was hiding it from you. I just, don't think you wanted somebody to be whining on the air. You can't be whining too much. So there was a really bad accident on the skateboard, a really bad one. And I fell pretty hard. And it's pretty brutal. And it's so bad. I went to Dr. Appleton. I thought I had a torn rotary cuff. I thought MRI and all this stuff. He treated me twice, and the pain is gone. My shoulder was in so much pain. The way I described my shoulder pain on the air before I saw Dr. Appleton, I said on the side of my shoulder, I feel like I've been punched by Mike Tyson. And in the front, I feel like someone has taken a steak knife, because it's all grated, stabbed me with it, and it's inside my muscle, and they're tearing my muscle with it. It was that bad. It was that bad. And when he treated me with the laser wave pain treatment, when I walked out of the office, I felt better. I went back for a follow-up 2 days later. The pain is gone, and it is not returned. It's amazing. It works on all kinds of... He gave me an exam, and he did some movement exercises and things. He says it's not torn. You wouldn't have this kind of movement. You wouldn't be able to do this. You'd be on the floor in tears and all this stuff. It works. And it works on all kinds of pain. Call Dr. Appleton. Appointments are not necessary, and walk-ins are welcome, even on Saturdays. Okay? If you go in on Saturday, walk-ins are still welcome, even on Saturdays. Give him a call. His number, 954-973-0710. Also, when you call, Dr. Appleton's office will text you directions to his office to your cell phone if you need them. 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonChiro.com. All right. So just a couple things here I want to mention. And then at the top of the hour, I'll do some recapping, because there was some President Trump's defense strategy in the D.C. case, and that kangaroo court leaked out. And I talked about it right at the top at 6, but I'll recap it after the top of the hour. But there's a couple stories I want to mention to you before we break, okay? One, Brit Hume over at Fox News. This Fox News exodus has been just devastating to Fox News. And I know they're trying to bring Trump back, but Brit Hume, even though he doesn't do that nighttime show anymore, he's still got a lot of pull over there. And he described, Brit Hume, who's still at Fox, he described President Trump's first term as a failed presidency. Can you believe this? And yeah, I know. It's hard to believe. He described it as a failed presidency. And, you know, it's really, Brit Hume is such a disgusting person and a disappointment. You know, he used to be, when Bill Clinton was president, Brit Hume was the Fox News Channel White House correspondent. And Fox News wasn't corporate hack media like they are now. They were real media, as opposed to the fake news that they're talking about, you know, now, like you would hear over there, trying to trick Trump to come on to the debate. And they used to be a real news operation that didn't do what the fake news corporate media do. And Brit Hume, when Bill Clinton was president, he was the Fox News White House correspondent. He was the first reporter to ask to his face Bill Clinton about Paula Jones. And that was a big deal back then. You know, the morals of this country have gone down to the tubes so much. Paula Jones doesn't seem like a big deal now, but it was then. And it was I remember it clearly. It was a Rose Garden press conference with Bill Clinton. You know, his middle name is Jefferson, Bill Clinton. That means his initials are B.J. Clinton. Did you guys realize that? B.J. Clinton, that's Bill Clinton. That's his initials. B.J.C. That's right. But it was a Rose Garden. I know it was outside. I don't know if it was the front lawn or the Rose Garden, but it was an outside press conference. Brit Hume got called on by President Clinton, and he asked about Paula Jones, and President Clinton was ticked. First reporter to do it. Now what's happened? They're a bunch of sellout corporate fake news hacks. That's why I don't watch them. And you shouldn't either. Now, I did watch that segment of Mark Levin on YouTube that Steve was talking about yesterday, because Steve had asked me to. But Brit Hume called Trump's first term a failed. Who was it a failed presidency for? Who was it a failure for? What, China? The Democrats? The donors? The military-industrial complex because he didn't start new wars? Who feels that his first term was a failure? I think it was incredible, the first term. Now, there's one other quick story here that I don't want to talk about too much. I just want to mention it, okay? Because these people on the left. There's a story today, it's all over the mainstream media. Majority of Americans will be minorities by the year 2045. The white population will dip below 50% for the first time in history. Gen Z will be the last generation of Americans with a white majority. Oh, really interesting. I thought that Tucker Carlson's great replacement theory was racist and ethnocentrism. I thought it was not true. I thought the great replacement theory was a racist myth, they keep telling us. If it's not, how are the whites going to be the minority by 2045? You know how? Because they got half of our people that are white or gay. Of the other half, a quarter of them don't know what gender they are. You know, about 80% of the population of childbearing years, they don't have sex that results in pregnancies, right? So it's true. It's true. Okay? And they're bringing millions of people over here from the southern border, okay? So the only way that this is possible is that the great replacement theory of Tucker Carlson's is true. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm Stan from Fort Myers, and in lieu of Uncle Neil, where the median age is death. That's what he used to say.
Yeah.
I want to talk about Ramaswamy. Ramaswamy reminds me of Barack Obama. He talks like him. You know, one of the things about Barack, he's a good talker. And Ramaswamy is equivalent to that. I don't know what you think about that.
Well, there's similarities, but Obama didn't always say the right things. Ramaswamy always says the right things to make you feel like he's with you. You know, Obama got busted all kinds of times. Remember he told Joe the plumber, I'm trying to start a business and your tax... Well, sometimes you got to spread the wealth around. Everyone's got to have skin in the game. That's out of Mao's Little Red Book. So he's slicker than Obama. Listen, I got to run for the top of the hour break from Fort Myers. Thanks for calling, all right?
Okay, thank you.
All right. Oh, well, welcome to the show. Welcome, welcome, welcome. First-time callers don't get the treatment, which means we don't press them with questions. All right. We'll be back right after this.
WWNN Pompano Beach, WIRK HD3 Indiantown. Programming paid for by Vic Canales Media Group. Broadcasting from the Robe Studio. Injured recently? Call the Robes Law Group, where winning is a habit. 561-570-5700. 561-570-5700. Robes, winning for you and our community. Your home for the Steve Kane Show. From the Palm Beach Patio Furniture Weather Center, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created, here's the oldies forecast.
Good morning, everybody. We have an unusual situation in South Florida today with an excessive heat warning in effect for all of the Treasure Coast in Palm Beach County until 7 o'clock tonight, meaning we have really ramped up the heat and we see conditions feeling like 114 or above this afternoon. So excessive danger with the heat out there to heat-borne illness. Just be aware. Other than that, only isolated storm chances. I'm WPVM 25 First Warning Meteorologist Sandra Shaw.
Weather brought to you by Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Route 1, Seminole Plaza Shops, North Palm Beach. Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Voted hit the best of the best patio store in Palm Beach County. PalmBeachPatioFurniture.com. Where luxurious outdoor spaces are created.
And now, a true oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
Still crash free this morning, but we are seeing usual limits on 95 and northbound from Deerfield Beach and Avoca. Also the northbound side of I-95, a little bit slow passing Lake Worth Road. In West Palm Beach, we have a new multi-vehicle crash now on Jog Road, Vista Parkway. Broward County is incident free. This report is sponsored by Macy's. This week at Macy's, save on everything you need for back to school, like 30% off Levi's. Plus, Macy's Star Rewards members can earn rewards even faster during Star Money bonus days. Now at Macy's, see Macy's.com/Star Rewards. Savings off sales and clearance prices. Exclusions apply. That's drop from Chris Vaughn.
Traffic, a service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. The poker room at PBKC features daily cash games, mega bad beat jackpots, big money tournaments, and high hands every 20 minutes from 9 a.m. to midnight. Tournament players earn cash prizes and big buy-ins. Visit our newly expanded casino table game area with Ultimate Texas Hold'em and 3-card poker with just a $5 minimum, and that is 7 days a week. Go to pbkennelclub.com. Here's your true oldies ABC News update.
ABC News Now, I'm Tom Rivers. If you need something,
Oh, man. Welcome, guys. If you're new to my channel, make sure that you subscribe, all right? Are you all subscribed? There's over 1,300 in the live stream. Make sure you like the video, too, because that gets this video recommended to people that have not yet found this channel. When we get back, I'm going to recap what's going on with Trump at the D.C. court, and then I haven't gotten to yet. I'm going to, coming up after the break, into all the great news we got out of the judge here in Florida in the Trump documents case, which is amazing.
I was crossing the street when I met the love of my life. I chased after her. Nothing would stand in my way. Not the dog walker, nor the hot dog vendor.
Where I'm just pulling up an article here. There we go. All right, welcome back. The third hour has begun. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. I'm Brian Craig. Steve Kane joining us. Hey, Steve.
Hey, how you doing?
All right, lots of stuff going on today. We've had very busy phones and a lot of developments and a lot of stories that we've been covering. I don't. Do you want me just to go on, or do you have something you wanted to do? Okay, now I'm going to do one recap on one court case, and I got new stuff on the Florida case. But the kangaroo court in D.C., where the judge is a former co-worker. I said Coke because of who the person is. That was a slip of the tongue. But the judge in the D.C. case is a former I said it again, because I got cocaine on the brain because of who I'm thinking about. I'm not trying to be funny. I said coke twice instead of co. The judge in the D.C. case against Trump is a former co-worker of junkie, hooker addict, and cocaine addict Hunter Biden. They worked at the law firm together as associate attorneys. Can you believe this? Co-workers. Co-workers. And she was co-workers with the man who had the guy arrested. Trump. Okay, so there's all kinds of biases there. But the defense strategy of President Trump's legal team, I was not slipping on purpose and saying coke. Those were real slips. I just saw somebody walk by the window, Steve, dressed at... What kind of women walk the streets around here, Mike? Look out the window. Do you see that woman? Oh, my goodness. I'll tell you off the air, Steve. I'll tell you off the air. Well, you may want to, if you saw what was outside the window, you might want to transfer up here to Palm Beach Gardens and leave the Cooper City studio. I'll tell you after the show what I just saw. Yeah.
My headset is low. Can you turn?
No, you got to turn it up on your end. You got to turn the sound up on your end. But I'm talking now, Steve. I'm telling her on the air. So anyway, in the D.C. case, though, the Trump defense team, it's hard to focus after what I just saw walk by, Steve. I'm sorry. The Trump legal team's strategy in D.C. leaked out. And I'll just give you the summarized version. I'm not going to read through the article on it because I want to get into the Florida case. But what leaked out of Trump's legal team in D.C. is their whole strategy is based around getting one juror to go not guilty and getting a hung jury, which means they've resigned themselves that getting an acquittal with this Hunter Biden co-worker judge and a D.C. grand jury is impossible. So they're going to go for a hung jury. Their whole legal strategy is based around just convincing one person on the jury to go not guilty and hope they can hold out. That's what our democracy is relying on right now, that leaked out overnight. And it's sad. That's how crooked it is. You know, see what happens, let me just finish up on this thing, then I'll get to the new one. See, what happens a lot of times, people do things outside of radio stations because they don't know there's people in the buildings. And I remember when we were at Clear Channel iHeartRadio in Miami Gardens, there was a woman who had a minivan who liked to bring men into the parking lot outside the building and have sex with them outside the radio station. And I remember she was, I don't know what, it was very strange, very strange. And people that, not me or Steve, but others that work in broadcasting are degenerate perverts. And they spent their days just looking out the window, waiting for the minivan. And what I just saw outside the window was just caught my eye in a strange way. All right, anyway, so it's true. So in Florida, though, we've got this great MAGA judge in Florida who's made some rulings and has made rulings that are not favorable to this corrupt prosecution team of Jack Smith's. And I'll read through this story because it's more detailed and I want to share it with you, and it's new, and the mainstream media aren't going to share this. This is in the Gateway Pundit, okay, if you guys want to look this up. Judge Aileen Cannon in the Southern District of Florida Federal Court delivered a blow to Special Counsel Jack Smith's team working against President Trump in the classified documents case. Now, I want to remind you guys, the Florida case is not in Miami. They had the arraignment in Miami. The trial is going to be in Fort Pierce, Florida, where I did not even know there was a courthouse. I thought it went Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Palm Beach, and then like Orlando. This is a new courthouse. The place where it's at, Fort Pierce, Florida, is in St. Lucie County. This is the most MAGA part of America. It's the most MAGA part of Florida. The jury pool in this district will be pulled from St. Lucie County, Martin County, which you'll often hear me refer to as MAGA Martin County, and Okeechobee County. These three counties voted 71% for Trump in the last election. So, and we got a Trump-appointed judge. So we're going to get a fair jury here. The best that the prosecution could hope for would be a hung jury. There's no way you're going to get a conviction in Florida in this case, okay? It's too conservative, which means that they'll make a ruling and judgments based on the law, not how they feel. But anyway, the judge in the classified documents case is really upsetting the left, okay? Politico has reported that the Trump judge in the documents case struck down 2 of special counsel Jack Smith's sealed filings in her ruling yesterday. And Politico wrote this: Judge Cannon comes out swinging at special counsel this morning, striking 2 of the prosecutor's sealed filings, and demanded an explanation of the legal propriety of using an out-of-district grand jury proceeding to continue investigating the documents case. So they've got it. Now this is news, because now I'm confused. Is this, okay, when I originally heard this story, I thought she was referring to the D.C. trial, but I don't think she is now. There's a grand jury somewhere. Now, it may be the same grand jury that brought the indictment that they're using with this Hunter Biden co-worker judge. But it could be that same grand jury or another grand jury. But they've already got an indictment on the documents case in Florida. He still has a grand jury outside of the Southern District of Florida on the documents case, looking to get an indictment in another district somewhere, probably because he realizes she's a Trump-appointed judge, and the jury pool is 71% Trump voters, okay? And that to me sounds like she's on the verge of tossing the case completely. And you know, I don't know how it works at this level. I'm not Mark Levin. I'm not a lawyer, you know, so I don't know. But in other cases, judges can dismiss cases with or without prejudice, and in one of those instances means the prosecutor can't come back with charges, right? In one way that it's still left open for them to come back to the court with charges. So it seems to me that Judge Cannon here in MAGA St. Lucie County, where they wear MAGA hats at Starbucks, I'm not kidding, that's how MAGA that place is, okay? And it sounds like she's about ready to toss this case, Steve. And that's a good news. And it'll really, if she does toss it, what'll come out is how corrupt Jack Smith is. And that will not help him, even with this corrupt judge. You know, this judge is corrupt, or she'd recuse herself. She was a co-worker of Hunter Biden's. Hunter's dad is the one, you know, going after Trump. You know, and I'm also curious, Steve, I'm reading that this judge in D.C., she was appointed by Obama, right? She's a campaign donor to Obama's. And I don't know if it's $50, but there seems to be a conflict of interest that if you donate to someone and then they give you a lifetime federal judge appointment, that doesn't seem right. That almost seems like you bought your way in. I don't know. Everything about this judge is conflict.
Well, cases run.
It is. It is. Now listen, if you're on hold, stand by. We're going to take our first break of this hour. We'll come back with some calls. And I've got more, but it's looking good for Trump in Florida, and I think it's looking good for him in D.C. too, because there's a spotlight on these rats in D.C. with their corruption, and rats and cockroaches hate the light. They hate the light. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE-1, 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you're listening to us, 888-465-2631. My name is Brian Craig. Steve Kane, of course, is here, and you are listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977, celebrating 46 years on the radio. We'll take our break and be right back.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-CANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
All right, and it's time to check in with Attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Good morning, Attorney Barry Siegel.
Good morning. How are you gentlemen doing?
We're great. What do you have for us today, Barry?
Well, you know, at the Siegel Law Group, you know, we're a law firm. We do estate planning, elder law, probate, trust administration, and our goal is to help our clients have an estate plan that works and meets their goals. And we try to provide not just the expertise, but the tools they need, the processes they need to make sure that it's going to work. Having an estate plan is not just going out somewhere whether it's going online or going to some document preparation situation, or going to an attorney who does 20 different areas of law and doesn't really know have expertise in areas of estate planning, and getting some documents. It's really not only about the documents, but there's things in the documents that can make a huge difference. And those are some of the things that we teach when people come in, either for their free consultation or to one of our seminars. And so it's really important to have an estate plan and have an estate planning attorney who has expertise in areas that might be a little more advanced, but also expertise in areas of elder law that can help people protect their assets during their lifetime. Because what good is a great estate plan if you lose it all during your lifetime because of the cost of long-term care? So we're looking at things from every angle, having an updating system, making sure that the trustees are trained so they know what to do. We want to make sure it's going to work so that a mess isn't left behind and our clients are peace. And that's what it's all about.
Yeah, and I've had something. I'm going to call you off the air sometime soon, Barry, because I've got something in my situation with my family, and my mother's talking about getting a ladybird deed for her home because I'm her only child. She's a widow and all that, and I don't know if that's a good idea. I don't know too much about that stuff, but I know you guys do. So I'm gonna give your office a call so we can talk about that, Barry. And now that my daughter's grown up, and who knows, I might get that call that she's getting married or maybe even be married. I got to get things set up for the bloodline planning on my own end because of that.
Well, yeah, bring up a few things. The ladybird deed is a tool that can be used for many people. If they're going to be qualifying for Medicaid, it could help protect the value of the home even after their death. So Medicaid doesn't have the opportunity to claw back and try to recover from the proceeds. It also helps the real estate avoid probate. And then, as far as setting up the bloodlines, of course that's super important, especially for anybody who has a child who is married or about to get married, and making sure that the inheritance you leave is protected from divorce, and then of course, if you also, for people out there who have children, if you have children that are maybe just getting into college age, there are things that you need to do for them as well, because if you don't get a power of attorney or healthcare surrogate for them, they could be off to college somewhere, and you no longer have the ability to make decisions for them like you did when they were minors. So there's just so many planning issues that come up that a lot of times it's also just about recognizing what the issues are and then knowing what the solutions are and then knowing how to implement them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the Siegel Law Group, if you mention you heard Attorney Barry Siegel on the radio, it is a no-charge consultation with the Siegel Law Group, all right? You can find them online at siegellawgroup.com, and the number's toll-free, 855-FLA-3782. 855-FLA-3782. All right, Attorney Barry Siegel, we'll talk later in the week. All right, back after this.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, hear us in Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at TrueOldiesFLA.com.
All right, we're back. I'm Brian Craig. Steve Kane is here. It is the Steve Kane Show. Callers on hold. Stand by.
Stop. When I wasn't watching soccer, I was watching the trials and all the stuff that's going on. It's amazing stuff, and it's hard to put it all together. It's just bizarre. Maybe that's the thing, that Trump's not allowed to talk about the case anymore?
No, they're trying to. They're trying to, so we can't campaign and talk about things at rallies.
Objection to it. They
No, Trump's people are going to the court to limit that. They
Can they do that?
Well, because, Steve, these are monsters. These are corrupt public officials.
Makes sense. You couldn't have a trial with that. You can't defend yourself if you can't talk.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
It doesn't make any sense that they would even try to pass it.
Steve, you woke up in the Soviet Union. See, that's what happened. You woke up in Castro's Cuba. This is, Chavez's Venezuela.
Well, okay, that's why I'm coming to you for help here. So at what point did they wake up and say, Excuse me, that's unconstitutional. Let's move on. Forget about this nonsense.
Well, at some point, the Trump team will go to the Supreme Court. I think they're probably waiting. You know, this fourth one's coming in out of Georgia, so they're probably waiting for all of this. And do you know, Trump has 4 different legal teams. He has the Fort Pierce legal team, the New York legal team, the D.C. legal team, and the Atlanta one, all in place.
Anxious to get in on the act, that's for sure.
I don't know, Steve. You know, they like to put Trump's lawyers in jail. And this one guy, I don't know his name, the guy that's leading the team that's all over TV with the D.C. case, he's so good. You know they're after him. And now, if you're on hold standby, I just want to say one more thing, and then we'll go back to the phones. The Democrats are doing something. I hope they win on this one. They're pushing for something. And I hope they get their way on this one. They're pushing to have a camera with a live feed on television in the D.C. courtroom. It does to them. Well, Steve, they're mental patients. They're Trump derangement syndrome. They're not thinking clearly. This is what these Trump haters are always scheming. Trump's gone up in the polls so high that I don't think he's going to go higher, because I think he's hit that ceiling that Hillary was always griping about, you know. He could only go so high in the polls. He's like at 70%. Who's ever gotten that high, right? You know. So what they think is this: oh, if those MAGA racist rednecks married to their cousins, if they could just see the evidence in the courtroom, then they'll drop them.
Throw one thing in, because I don't want to. I mean, I don't want to be a victim of my own propaganda here. It seems to me the only fallacy with the polls is that, right, correct me if I'm wrong, the only fallacy with the polls is that right now they are reflecting only Republican voters, isn't that?
No, not all of them. There's some polls that are of the just Republicans for the primary, and then there's some Trump versus Biden, and he's beating Biden in all those as well.
Modest margins.
Yeah, and in those polls, they poll people, they poll Democrats, and they also poll them in California and New York, okay, and Chicago. And he's still beating Trump. I mean, Trump is still beating Biden in those polls.
More reasonable lead, like 4-3.
Yes. But I'll take that with margin of error. He could be 7-8 points ahead. So.
Started yet.
So they think that if we see the courtroom and we see him there, then this is just like when the Mueller report came out and it didn't move anything, and then they had Mueller testify, and I remember on CNN they were saying, well, when the American people hear the author of the Mueller report, Mr. Mueller himself, in his own words, then they'll turn. They're always scheming, and you know they're like the Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote.
Here.
Yeah. Well, let's take some calls. The phones are ringing. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. Steve, how are you doing?
Good morning.
Yes, I believe you woke up in Chicago and Al Capone is the mayor.
Yes.
What's going on here is we got criminals running the DNC. We got criminals running our country. We got criminals running our corporation. Criminals create victims. I don't care if we all live like animals, because animals create more victims.
Yeah, I mean, look at New York over the weekend when that influencer turned out the mob for the PlayStations.
Right, and look at all these people living in tents. That's basically people living like animals. It's camping for a reason.
Yeah.
But, the Democrats' whole strategy is based on redistribution. Redistribution based on the bad behavior of America.
That's true.
They have to sue America. They sue America. Everybody has to be a victim so they can sue America. Everything.
Well, I'll tell you. Okay. Well, I'm a victim. I'm a victim of an out-of-control. Oh, by the way, you want to talk about being victimized? Oh, I filled up my car this morning, and in one of my cars I can put regular unleaded in it. Okay, and my other vehicles I cannot. So luckily this was regular unleaded. $4 a gallon. $3.99 and 9/10. Okay, can I round up to $4? $3.99 and 9/9. You know, $4 a gallon. Thanks a lot, Joe Biden. You know, I mean, come on. You know, and I got to think. You know, the kids are going back to school, and this is a tough time to be a parent because you got to buy the school clothes, the school shoes, the school supplies. If you got multiple kids, everything's gone up. And a gas, regular unleaded, at $4 a gallon in Florida. I mean, I don't know what people are doing. I know they're...
You're a Republican attorney.
Yeah, I guess. You know, or to, you know, not drive anywhere. But you know, what Biden is putting people through in this country, he just doesn't care. All right, let's go back to the phone. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, good morning, Brian. It's Lisa in Texas.
Hey.
Hi, Steve.
Hey.
Hey, listen. The thing I couldn't remember the other day, talking about Vivek yesterday. The other thing, another reason not to trust him, or anybody who says that they're going to forgive Trump of these charges when he's not even guilty of anything, is another reason not to be trusting Vivek.
Well, that new thing with him on Juneteenth that I found this morning, I mean, that's devastating to him.
Yeah, that's another ridiculous...
See, Steve and I have been arguing over this because, you know...
I just got to get this off my chest. I've been living and breathing this 24 hours a day. I mean, I'm at the television nonstop from the moment I wake up. And Brian and I have a couple of little philosophical differences here. But I like to, and I go all over. Now that Brian has opened, and I thank you very much, Brian, he is open.
See, the compliment before he brings me down. He's going to bring me down, so he's going to compliment me first. He's lifted me up.
Don't get paranoid.
I'm not paranoid. It's true.
I don't give you compliments that I don't mean.
Yeah, I know.
Brian opened my eyes to the fact that there are other news perspectives on the
Newsmax, yeah.
And Newsmax, and I've spread out my source material, and then it's made me better. Believe me, I'm telling you, it's made me better because now I have a whole bunch of things to draw from. Okay. Yeah, and I'm trying to get Brian where I am, where he draws from a large...
I do. I just use different sources, Steve. I'm the most prepared man on radio.
I don't want to get off with
but that thing, we got a break. But what Steve doesn't understand is that Ramaswamy is about to worm his way into Trump's orbit.
Hey, just one more thing, Brian. One more thing. Hey, listen. Do you think that maybe this leak of information from his defense could possibly have been on purpose to throw them off?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And that's a tactic, too. We'll be right back.
Making morning radio great again. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Oh.
The greatest rock and roll hits of the 60s and 70s coming up this morning. From the Palm Beach Patio Furniture Weather Center, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created, here's the oldies forecast.
Good morning, everybody. We have an unusual situation in South Florida today with an excessive heat warning in effect for all of the Treasure Coast in Palm Beach County until 7 o'clock tonight, meaning we have really ramped up the heat and we will see conditions feeling like 114 or above this afternoon. So excessive danger with the heat out there to heat-borne illness. Just be aware. Other than that, only isolated storm chances. I'm WPBF 25 First Warning Meteorologist Sandra Shaw.
Weather brought to you by Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Route 1 Seminole Plaza Shops, North Palm Beach. Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Voted in the best of the best patio store in Palm Beach County. Palm Beach Patio Furniture.
Okay, so, I got some updates here. Okay. Judge Cannon reveals Jack Smith. I'm going to read this when we get back after the break. Judge Cannon reveals Jack Smith is using an out-of-district grand jury to investigate classified documents case. That means outside the Southern District of Florida. So he has a secret star chamber somewhere. This is insane.
Different custom window treatments, including full wood blinds and shutters, all at prices less than retail. Plus, they'll send you free samples before you buy. Don't hire an expensive pro. Do it yourself and save big at blindsir.com. That's Traffic on Chris Barr.
Traffic, a service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. The poker room at PBKC features daily cash games, mega bad beat jackpots, big money tournaments, and high hands every 20 minutes from 9 a.m. to midnight. Tournament players earn points towards cash prizes and big buy-ins. Visit our newly expanded casino table game area with Ultimate Texas Hold'em and 3-card poker with just a $5 minimum, and that is 7 days a week. Go to pbkennelclub.com.
It's Scott Shannon here with a question. How would you like a free doorbell camera? You get a doorbell camera, you get a doorbell camera, and you get a doorbell camera. I wish we had them for everyone, but the first 40 true oldies channel listeners to call 833-283-5050 will get a free doorbell camera that connects directly to your cell phone with installation of your Sloman Shield. You can see your home right from the palm of your hand.
Oh, goodness. Welcome. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, guys. Wow.
So you're getting an LED touchscreen pad, a motion detector, 3-arm doors, and a backup battery. Plus, if you're one of the first 40 true oldies channel listeners to dial 833-283-5050, you'll receive a free doorbell camera with the installation of your Sloman Shield. So call Sloman's now for this
Unreal.
limited-time offer, 833-283-5050. That's 833-283-5050.
Tom Laporta here from Laporta Contracting, Roofing and Building Restoration. We have been in the roofing and construction industry for 40 years. We are originally from Connecticut, where our and work ethic is second to none. We install all kinds of roofs from asphalt shingle, clay and concrete tile, standing metal seam, slate tile, and flat roof systems. We work with homeowners, HOAs, commercial properties, and churches. We are state of Florida licensed roofing and general contractors. At Laporta Contracting, family is what we are, and roofing and restoration is what we do. We help guide our customers to a successful outcome by constantly informing them every step of the way. At Laporta Contracting, let our family take care of your family. Call me on my cell at 954-604-4602 or visit us on our website at laportacontracting.com. That number again is 954-604-4602.
If you're suffering from burning, tingling, or numb feet, you need to pay special attention as we discuss neuropathy with Dr. Corey Hennessy, DC, and 8 Healthcare. Dr. Hennessy, what is neuropathy?
Peripheral neuropathy is actually nerve damage to the feet and legs.
And what are the symptoms?
The major symptoms of neuropathy are numbness, tingling, burning, muscle cramps, coldness in the hands and feet, and problems with balance.
Is neuropathy treatable?
It is treatable. We've seen some great results.
Call 954-633-7003 today to schedule your nerve damage screening. This screening will tell you if you're at risk for serious complications and if you're a candidate for our treatment program. Don't wait until your symptoms are so severe that there's nothing that can be done. End-stage neuropathy leaves people confined to walkers, wheelchairs, and even amputations. Call 954-633-7003. The first 25 callers will receive a free nerve damage screening. Space is limited. Call 954-633-7003.
Telling you about our 5th annual listener cruise, and you're all invited, except Liberal Al. Liberal Al, you're not invited, but the rest of you
That's true. Liberal Al really is not invited. It's a private group. We can deny people to be in our group.
Islands, Curacao, Bonaire, and Aruba. We have short excursions at every port, and I'll be on them all with you. We'll have dinner together every night, private cocktail parties, we'll go to Broadway shows together, and dance till the clubs close every night. Call Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot and book your reservation. 561-244-5779. 561-244-5779.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig, celebrating 46 years on the air.
All right, callers on hold, stand by. Yes, yes.
Let me just get back to where we were when we took the break, which is where we should have been all along. I just should put a point on this. where we are now in this show is where we, in the whole show. You'll have to forgive me, but in my considered opinion, this stuff about Ramaswamy is going to be a blip on the screen of history. Nobody's going to know who wrote it.
All right. Okay.
To waste.
You're wrong. Okay. We're not wasting time. I was going to move on.
What I want to do is get to where we are now, which is the state of the trial. It's interesting. It's fascinating. It's unbelievable. And you do a great job of explaining.
Yeah.
So,
All right. No. Well, no. I'm gonna go to the phones at 1-888-GO-CANE-1. Now, I just was reading on Twitter during the break, and it is now this is like fact. Jack Smith has a secret grand jury somewhere in America outside of the Southern District of Florida in the documents case, while he's already got a documents indictment case going. We don't know if it's the D.C. grand jury or another grand jury, but he's got this Star Chamber grand jury somewhere, and the judge in Florida calling it out. It's pretty big news. Pretty big news. Yeah, it's big news. All right, well, let's go to the phones at 1-888-GO-CANE, 1-888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Good morning.
Delray.
Hey, Delray.
Yes. First, I want to say you're doing a great job. I listen to you every morning. I left the New York area because of the politics up there. I used to be a Democrat. I'm a total now Republican, and I feel that DeSantis and Chris Christie should get out of this election.
Yep.
Trump is the only one we need to save our country.
it's going to happen. Not to worry. It's going to happen naturally.
Well, I believe it, brother.
For
I
lack
believe
of
it, brother,
funds.
because
These people are all going to die due to lack of funds.
you know, if people in America don't start waking up, we're in trouble.
How long ago did you switch to Republican from Democrat?
About 4 or 5 years, 5 years ago.
5 years ago.
And Union used to turn around and push the Democrats.
Oh.
Democrats. And I said, Mike, wait a minute. This is totally wrong.
Well, listen, I want to...
I served in the military and stuff, and it's a disgrace what Joe Biden did.
Well, let me say this to you. You said you're in Delray. Okay, you are a recovered liberal. Okay, you're a recovered liberal, but you're new into your recovery, and Delray has a lot of Democrats in it. So be careful. Be careful.
When I talk to people, because I drive a lot of people here in Florida, I drive them in the car, and everybody so far was on our side.
Awesome.
It's going to happen. Look, it's going to happen naturally. So you know what the next big event is going to be? This supposed debate that's going to happen that's not going to turn into a debate, because Trump is going to have his own debate and show up for the Democratic debate. And the day after the debate that they're having, that they want Trump to go to, Trump's going to do his own debate by himself or with one other person. And nobody's going to be watching the heir apparents that are online to vultures trying to take the job away from Trump, who's the only man who can straighten this country out.
Yep.
And it's going to be evident, and they're not going to be able to raise a penny.
So caller, you said you drive. What are you, like an Uber driver or something?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, how's that working out with these gas prices? Biden's.
Thanks Joe Biden again.
That's right.
And it's amazing what Joe Biden does. All the time when it's a holiday, he must go to sleep or go away, and then he drops the prices, and then he wakes up or he fell off the stage.
Yeah. Well, listen. Welcome to the free state of Florida and to the Republican Party. I got it.
Good. What are you saying in closing, sir?
One other thing I must say. DeSantis ought to wake up and remember who put him there, okay? Donald Trump supported him as governor here, and he must wake up.
Oh, no, he's done. All right, hey, well, listen, thanks for the call, and feel free to call again. All right, take care. Now I was talking earlier that I think Ron DeSantis' marriage is in big trouble. And I'll tell you, oh, yeah, it's big trouble. Well, he did I was talking about this in the first hour, and I'll throw this out again because I'd like to get some feedback on this. Then we'll go back to the phone. So if you're on hold, stand by. He gave an interview to NBC News that's getting a lot of play because he was trashing Trump, and they like that. But what I noticed was that he was with his wife, and they were holding hands through the entire interview. They were sitting next to each other holding hands during the entire interview. And from following these stories over the years, the only time politicians hold hands with their spouse during televised interviews is when a marriage is in trouble. Now, I'm not alleging that Ron DeSantis is involved in any infidelities. I'm not alleging that. His wife doesn't keep her out of her eyesight, so he wouldn't be able to if he wanted to. But I think she's ticked off at him because she has blown his political future and her income. She was about to become a millionaire many times over. The campaign has failed. She's blaming him for it, and they're in trouble. And I think that's why they were holding hands during the entire interview.
Insight.
Yeah. I told you, if any of you have seen this interview, I'd like to hear your observations on that.
Wait, in the New York Post yesterday's New York Post, there is a column, I unfortunately don't remember who wrote it, but it's one of the major columns. They devoted the whole thing to Trump and his wife, who has re-entered the picture, and they are now talking about how solid Trump's marriage is.
I read that article, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's all hooked together.
They said that she is his rock or something like that was in the article. Yeah, Melania. Yeah, and Walmart Melania is upset. See, the biggest problem that married couples have is not infidelity, it's financial, because financial problems are more common than infidelity. And Casey DeSantis, I believe, is very angry at Ron, blaming him for destroying everything when she was not only going to be, in her mind, the first lady and worth millions. Yeah, exactly. But anyway, if you saw that interview, let me know. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Good morning.
Massachusetts.
Hey, Helen.
Helen,
Hi, good morning, Steve.
Good morning, you turn the radio.
Okay. Got it.
Okay.
Hey, this is regarding the indictment in D.C. According to Alan Dershowitz, he read the indictment, the motion that went in, and what Jack Smith sent in as the initial argument is President Trump January, and he left out peacefully.
Yes.
Could get Jack Smith charged in court. Let's see how.
Oh, really? Yeah. So the Obama donor, who was appointed by Obama, who was a co-worker with junkie, crackhead, hooker-addicted Hunter Biden, is going to say, "Oh, Jack Smith, how dare you? Get out of my..." Please. She'll let him amend it.
No, she won't. It will take a miracle. But if she wants to redeem herself, she'll follow the law.
Please. See, listen, she's got a lifetime appointment. She doesn't care.
Well, that's true. You're right there.
All right. Thanks for the call. All right, Helen, take care. Listen, we're going to take our last break. If you're on hold, hang in there. We'll take our last break of the day. Steve's here. I'm Brian. We'll be right back.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on.
All right, and it's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated with the Morning Gold and Precious Metals Report. William Youngerman, how are the metals looking?
Metals giving us a great buying opportunity as they retrace the lows that we saw recently around $1,917 to $1,920. Support probably right around that $1,920 number, which is where we bounced off of last time we got down to this low. Yesterday we saw gold drop $6.20, closing out the day at $1,936.40. While silver was down 58 cents at $23.10 the ounce. Platinum lost $2 at $918, and palladium lost $16 at $1,214 the ounce. So the drop continued this morning as we saw the gold trading in a range of $1,923 on the low to $1,938 on the high. Currently at $1,927 the ounce, that's down $9.40. Silver down 30 cents at $22.80. Platinum down $18 at $900 even, and palladium down $34 at $11.80. So some of these numbers, we have not seen these low numbers in quite a while. So great buy at $22.80 at just finally breaking through that $23.
Absolutely.
And platinum right down around $900 is where its support level is too. So great buying opportunities for all the precious metals today. You may want to take advantage of.
Well, I want to ask you a couple questions about silver and platinum. Two things on silver. It's my understanding, and you can confirm or deny this, but for those that are real buyers of the American Silver Eagle, this is like they're priced right now, right, William? And great prices on Silver Eagles?
Right, back to the normal price that they were before the big run-ups and before the great interruption in the supply lines, and much of which was caused by COVID. But the availability, we have them in stock at the low premium.
Yeah, they're priced so what? The prices on Silver Eagles was insane. I mean, you were telling me, don't buy Silver Eagles, don't buy, and now's the time to buy. Also on silver, the 100-ounce bars, which are really kind of like a brick, but the 100-ounce silver bars are priced really good right now, aren't they?
Absolutely. Great values for those interested in buying larger quantities of silver. It's the cheapest form you can buy, and we have only the top brands, so that's...
Yeah. And the prices are great on, and we don't talk about platinum too much. Now the platinum, I just want to ask a couple things about, because the price on platinum is spectacular to buy right now. There's platinum bars you can buy as an ounce, and there's also the coins from the different mints, like the U.S. Mint. When it comes to the platinum, what's the best buy right now? Because I know there's different mints that have the platinum coins. Are there any particular pieces of platinum that people should buy either in coin or bar form from you right now?
Yeah, the Australia minted a beautiful coin called a platypus. Anybody knows what a platypus is anymore? But a 1 ounce platinum platypus, we have them in stock at a very good price. So those you want to check us out on.
All right, now listen, William Youngman opens up at 10 a.m. You can stop in at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca, on the first floor of the Bank of America building, just east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road. You can find him online at williamyoungerman.com or give him a call. And if you can't make it in, you can still buy right over the phone no matter where you're located on the planet. His number, 1-800-327-5010. 1-800-327-5010. All right, William Youngerman, we'll talk tomorrow.
Okay, have a great day. Thanks.
All right, back after this.
Take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is on the air.
All right, we're back. I'm Brian. Steve is here. So things are not going good for Jack Smith, Steve, this corrupt special prosecutor who looks like a weirdo. I mean, the guy looks insane. He looks insane. He looks insane.
Crazy looking is on.
You can see it. You see it in Whitmer. You see it in Newsom. They're just you can see it in their face. They're insane. All right, let's go back to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian from Deerfield.
Hey, Brian.
Hey, Brian. Geez, how are you guys doing today? I didn't see the interview that you were referring to, Rob, but I did see I don't know if you saw the Ed Rollins interview, where basically he came out and said DeSantis does not have it as a national candidate. I mean, talk about the kiss of death.
Now, I played some of that on the air. Ed Rollins... Okay, yeah, I played that last week. Ed Rollins worked on Ronald Reagan's campaign, and he's one of those Republicans that everyone, not that everybody always agrees with him, but everyone goes to for his analysis and advice. Yeah, and I did not know this, but Ed Rollins, not the singer, Ed Rollins was working on Ron DeSantis' PAC, and he quit. And he went through a very detailed explanation about how he's not a professional politician. He's not electable. He doesn't relate to people. When he meets with people, it's all about me, 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 me. He never asks people what they're concerned about or their worries, and he left. And he said he'll support whoever gets the nomination, which means Ed Rollins will support Trump.
No, he also said well, maybe DeSantis was a great governor of Florida, but as a national candidate, forget it.
Exactly. He's a local guy.
A candidate that's the end of the career, I think, right there.
Mm-hmm.
It was so very highly thought as one of the Reagan campaign, but this is that's just a disaster for him.
Oh, that was devastating. And his top donor, the billionaire, said he's pulling out unless there's some big changes.
I do want to point out that you did sorry, but you did hear it here first.
Yes. Yeah. No. We did that last week. That's right. That's right. All right, Brian in Deerfield. That's right. All right. Take care. Yeah. Sorry, he was complimenting us, and I was moving on. I didn't mean to do that. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Brian. Good morning. Steve, good morning. This is Richard from Coral Springs, the Indian accent guy from yesterday. Great, thank you. Steve, you're right. Ramaswamy is nobody, and he shouldn't be spoken about. But I just want to talk something about Brian brought it up. Sorry?
No, I say it. So you're right. It's a waste of time.
Watch. He's going to call me a racist
I
now.
just
Watch.
want to correct a couple things what Brian said.
Watch.
Firstly, Bill Clinton's initials are WJC, not BJP. I don't know why your mind is taking you.
No, his oh, I see. You have no sense of humor. Bill Clinton's middle name is Jefferson. His first name is William. Everyone calls him Bill. That means his initials are B.J. Clinton. That's a joke.
I'm going to move on. Thank you for your call.
Oh, that's a great call, Steve. That was a great call. I don't know why you're moving on. The guy with no sense of humor. No. We were just beginning, but that's okay. Whatever. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? I thought that was a beginning.
Stuff here. And
Oh, please.
on us. People rely on us. This is a very complex mess.
Steve.
Our job is to make the
Steve. I listen. I'm not saying that guy was the Black Phantom or something, but you know, he's the beginning of a hate caller. He's the beginning of a hate caller. Yeah, with no sense of humor. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Harvey in Daytona.
Yes.
I couldn't help but call again today. You cut me off yesterday before I ever got to anything.
Yeah.
I remember you from the
Well,
old
you're
days.
here now, so do your best shot.
Yeah, I don't remember the call.
Well, how many times have you guys been, either one of you two people, been to Mar-a-Lago at the invitation of your friend, the guy that you worshipped, Donald John Trump?
Mm-hmm. I have not been invited by President Trump personally for an audience at Mar-a-Lago. So what's the point?
What about Steve?
This.
And one of my major objectives, of course, my major objective is to see Donald Trump elected, but one of my major objectives in the campaign is I have this magnificent New Jersey General football helmet that I want the president to sign for me, and I'm hoping before this is all over I can accomplish that.
Yeah. Now I'll just tell you, Harvey, before you move on to your next prepared statement, which, you know, slow down a second here. Just calm down, Harvey. All right, you got nothing to do. You're retired, okay? This is the highlight of your day. I don't even remember your call yesterday, but I do remember in the past you've called recently, and every call you make, you try to establish something, which is really pathetic. You begin each call that I can remember lately with, have you interviewed Trump or have you been invited to Mar-a-Lago? What's the point you're trying to make with that line of questioning?
Well, he pretends like he loves the little people. He goes around the country giving these speeches and these talks and everything like that because he loves the little people. But these little people wouldn't be allowed anywhere near him.
Well, and your second mistake is assuming that I've not been invited to be around President Trump. You know, I was just, when I went to Turning Point USA a couple weeks ago, if you look at my YouTube video, I was as close to the president as I am to this microphone, and I was personally invited to go to it. But I don't, see, unlike you, I'm not going to walk around all day with a football helmet in my hand. Listen, Harvey, unlike you, Steve and I are not pathetically insecure and have to brag. And the only reason I do a mild bit of bragging with that is just to expose you. Furthermore, we don't support. What moron are we supporting? We don't support you. What? I'm confused.
George Bush, both Bush family, the father.
Oh, so this is interesting. This is an interesting thing, okay? George Bush has not been president since when? How many years since George Bush has been president, Harvey?
As a war.
I know. Hold on. George Bush has, the show's almost over. We've got a full board of calls, and your time is almost done because I want to move on. But I want to point out something. George Bush left office 15 years ago. You think we're little people? The show's this, the show's that, all these negative things. But you've been listening for at least 15 years. So why would you be listening to a show for at least a decade and a half, and I know it's longer, if it's such a pathetic little show?
I took a sabbatical, and I remembered it. I said, oh, look at that. They're still on the air. I can't believe it.
Okay, so why for over a decade and a half have you been following our lives and careers?
Addicted to the show.
I'm trying to get you two to change your ways and repent before it's too late.
Repent for what?
For being nothing but...
What? This is what you can't admit here. Maybe this can be a moment that you can have a revelation. You love Steve, you love me, and you think this is the greatest radio show of all time because you're so addicted to it.
15 years.
Yeah.
I've been trying to get you guys to go on the straight and narrow for a long time.
He can't admit it. Listen. Yeah. Listen. You're not ready for that final step to recovery yet, but I can tell by your tone that you think this is the greatest radio show ever. So, Harvey, thanks for your call. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, this is Richard. I think you hung up on me.
No, Steve told... No. Steve told me to hang up on you. I was going to keep you on, and Steve told me to hang up on you. Okay? But it's only one call per day, so this time I'm hanging up on you. All right? But it was Steve who commanded me to hang up on you before I would have kept you on. But if you didn't do that, we would have missed that great call from Harvey, who's our biggest fan in the world, who's been following our lives for a decade and a half at least. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Greatest show. Yes, it is the greatest radio show. This is the greatest radio show.
Thank you.
Hello,
I appreciate it.
Steve. I'm Steve from Chicago. I called yesterday.
Oh, yeah, I remember you. Yes, you had some technical issues that you've seemed to have worked out. What's on your mind, Steve from Chicago?
Yeah, well, I just wanted to say that the Ramaswamy thing, he's just maybe going up a little too high, and Trump made me feel like he's got to argue him down.
Thank you.
Okay, now I'll just share one thing with the audience that I've picked up on, okay? If you want to get hung up on by Steve hung up on the last call or two, not me, mention Ramaswamy, and yeah, Steve doesn't like Ramaswamy, and I don't know, people seem to have an interest. The phone lines are lit up on Ramaswamy, but Steve, so if you mention, I understand. So if I just want people to know, Steve is hanging up on these people. Now I'm doing it with my finger because Steve's telling me to, but these are not my choices. No, we're not wasting anything. This is all constructive stuff. But I will say this, that we've had some great calls today. But if you've listened to our news throughout the day, the heat index here in South Florida, all the way up through the Treasure Coast, is going to reach 100, was it 14 degrees or higher, Mike? 16? About to 116 degrees, Steve, in some areas. And that goes, by the way, through the evening. And what I recommend you do is what I do. Go to mypillow.com, use our promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E, and order the MyPillow 2.0. They're buy one, get one free with our promo code KANE. They have the cooling technology in them. It has the same patented fill inside that Mike Lindell invented, but the outside is special material made with that cooling technology that keeps your head and your face cool, comfortable all night.
On television, as most of us do, experience all the stations, go around, get every...
Well, hold on, Steve. I'm in the middle of the spot. So just let me finish the spot. So go to mypillow.com, Order the MyPillow 2.0 during this heat wave. You'll get it right away. It's buy one, get one free with our promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. You can also order by phone, 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879, promo code KANE.
Mike Lindell, you're supporting us.
That's right. Now, we're out of time for today. I'm sorry Harvey will have nothing to do until 6 a.m. tomorrow morning because his life revolves around this show. I'm Brian Craig. Steve Kane is here. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Take care.
WWNN Pompano Beach, W. Meyer, KHD3 Indiantown. Programming.
All right, guys, I got to run. Make sure you subscribe and like the video, guys. All right, I'll see you.